at pep talks. I didn't even get it. I didn't even get it.
That's why it may go
simple
short.
Things go by a comic genius's mind.
Hey, everybody. We're already in mid-conversation. And welcome to Pep Talks. I'm Eddie Pepitone with my co-host Steve Lally. And today we have one of my favorite comics. Brilliant man from a brilliant sketch group. The world famous Kids in the Hall, and this is Scott Thompson.
Hi.
Hi, Scott.
Hi.
Thanks, Scott.
Nice to see you guys. I was just saying before, I just realized what pep talks meant. And I'm glad you didn't go with lolly talks.
Yeah.
That wouldn't...
or lolly gagging would have also
Yeah,
lolly
gagging.
gagging.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that would be really
that would
good.
be pornographic.
But that's a pornographic
Totally.
term.
That's my
lolly.
porn
Is it?
alter ego.
Well, gagging is a big
Well, gagging's
thing.
a big deal now, isn't it?
Gagging has taken over a lot of, particularly the military culture.
You mean military porn culture?
Yeah.
Gagging-
porn
gagging
is very militarized.
Gagging is so mainstream now, it's become hack.
Yeah. What about lollygagging, though? Is that like...
That's my pornographic alter ego.
that's good. I like
Yeah.
that.
That's a great pornographic. Oh, by the way, if you've just tuned into YouTube and we came right out of the gates with gagging, it's just the way it's going to be today. We're in the day before Thanksgiving, and I don't know about you, because we were talking a lot about kind of, the sexuality thing.
Of Thanksgiving? Yeah.
Yes, I find the holidays make me crazy sexually.
He's so super horny at Thanksgiving. Is that what you mean? I mean,
Super
is it the stuffing of the
It's
turkey?
a
What is it?
drumstick thing.
Is it?
Just a twisted sexuality around the holidays because my emotions are so fucked up around the holidays. Anybody else out there? I'm talking to you folks.
Is
Just
this a call-in show? Do they call in?
not live.
Not live.
We have some messages
Okay.
that we'll get to, and we have some ads. We haven't been paid.
And what do you do for Thanksgiving?
Well, now I'm vegan, so it's hilarious. Me and my wife just cook together.
Oh, you're vegan. Really?
You don't like that?
Well,
I'm trying to say.
I just go. Shouldn't
save
you
the
look
animal.
different?
That I don't like. Now, folks, did you see that? And the reason why Scott gets away with that
I mean, why do I get it? Or did I
is
really?
because he plays all these characters, and if you call him on it, he'll say, "Oh, that was a character."
That was a character voice. Sounds just like me, and he said exactly what I wanted to say, but that was the character.
No, as far as addressing that, I eat a lot of carbs. Vegan.
You do?
Yeah.
And when did you go vegan?
About 6 years ago.
And what made you go vegan?
An animal rights thing. I
that's
think
the
the
only way I
real
would do it,
vegans.
yeah.
That's right.
The only
I think the
reason.
real vegans, and then we'll get back to the twisted Christmas, Thanksgiving
This
sexuality.
feeds into it, I think. I think so.
Feed is a good word for that, Scott.
does.
Thank you for that.
Well, feeders. You know about feeders? People that live to make their partner fat, and the fatter they get, the hornier they get. It may be a gay. I don't think it's gay or straight, but I know there's feeders and eaters.
This is for real.
For real. You see them on YouTube, which is the home that we're on right now. If somebody wants to go over and see a feeder video and then come back, I mean, would you be against it?
I wouldn't be against it.
Save your feeder videos for after our podcast,
Yeah,
please.
people are.
Well, Steve worries about losing viewers. Too.
Yeah. I'm always. I can't sleep over it. It's really, it bothers me.
Oh, okay.
So,
Well, I think a feeder video may be more interesting.
Well, I mean, you've never heard of that? People
No,
that get off
first time.
on making their partner
First time.
fat, and they want them to get fatter and fatter and fatter.
it's
and
hilarious.
it turns them on.
Yeah, I think it's a control thing.
Come here,
Yeah.
eat the fudge, Margaret.
Yeah, and I guess, and they weigh them all the time, and the fatter they get, I guess.
Eaters and
That
feeders.
sounds so
More
sick
hornier
to
they
me.
get.
That should be a reality television show. I'm not kidding.
Oh, I'm
Eaters and
sure-
feeders.
I can't believe it's not.
It really-
I mean, they
I
have my
can't-
600-pound life, but
Right.
Yeah.
They don't have things like that. No, I think that would be too sexual for
Yeah.
a lifetime.
Right.
Yeah. Now on YouTube, what do they show on YouTube as far as that about feeders getting your partner?
Well, there's nothing. There's no law against an adult male in a high chair being fed pureed squash, right?
Well,
you don't know what's going on under the diaper. Is all I'm saying. I mean, you can go on YouTube in a diaper.
Margaret. Now this would be me, honey. I want my fucking squash. Spank my bottom, and is it that kind of thing?
Well, you see, once they spank the bottom, then it wouldn't be allowed on YouTube.
Oh, I see.
But there's a lot of way around. I mean, I think if you're really fetishistic, you can find a lot of kinky stuff on YouTube that is not technically sex. I'm just saying. I'm asking for a friend.
It leads you into a sexual.
Well, like again, like feeder videos or feet videos. These are things that aren't just they're not illegal, but they're certainly turning people on. We don't all need to see the goosey parts.
What's your thing? I mean, do you have a thing?
I think everybody has things.
Yeah, I do. I have things.
I have.
Well, Eddie, what's your thing?
I would say
nice way to deflect that.
I like to be shackled. And told that I'm worthless.
Yep. Well, that's because you're a comedian. I assume that. I mean, other than that,
I'll tell you what I like to do, Scott. I like to have my wife shackle me. And she reads me our bills.
Oh, that's good. What about? I like it when my partner shackles me and then reads me bad reviews. That really
of other people's work. All
right.
Oh yes.
We do get off on that.
Especially like a comedian that I really admire, and they've gone down in flames, and then I find like a review where they talk about what happened to so and so. They've really lost it. That just gets me hard as a rock.
Same here.
It's strapped into my
me and my wife
chair.
will read. We go. Oh, I heard that Sherlock Holmes, Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly did a Sherlock Holmes movie that just was perhaps the worst piece of shit. And I don't know about you, but I'm very critical of Hollywood comedies. One, they won't use me in any of them.
Yes.
That's a big one.
It's a big one for me, too.
And two, I think they suck. I think they're toothless.
Yeah.
I feel like real parody. And we could talk about this a little now to get away from the feeder thing, because a lot of people out there in YouTube now are thinking, what are these people about?
Yeah, exactly. And the day before Thanksgiving, they're talking about food porn. It just seems inappropriate.
It actually
or appropriate.
Appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scott, you brought it up, by the way. I will.
No, he didn't.
I don't think I did.
Yeah, you did. You did. Eaters and feeders.
I might have.
Yeah,
but comedy, and I think Kids in the Hall was like it had teeth to it.
It did.
You know what sketch I really love too with Kids in the Hall. Your character's Buddy Cole. The chicken lady
was
a great so fucking insane.
So twisted.
The horny chicken lady.
Yeah.
It was so twisted. Yeah. Like, for instance, SNL, and, I know a lot of people on it, and I just think it's so, in all due respect to SNL, I think it's so awful. With all due respect to it.
They produced your...
Well, Lorne Michaels did.
Yes, he produced you.
Shit, I forgot.
No, that's all right. We had the same daddy. The difference was they have a daddy that's there all the time. We had an
absentee father.
That makes all the difference.
Absolutely. Like, to raise a good child, you need the daddy there all the time.
No, but not to smother you.
No, but to raise a good comedian, you need that daddy to be off fighting wars somewhere. When he comes home,
drunk at the bar.
He gets drunk and he hits you. And that you interpret as a kiss. That's what you need for comedy. So Lorne was very smart. He didn't do anything, right? He let us run wild.
Right.
And
that was the best thing he did, I think.
He put a stamp on it. He put a stamp on it.
Yeah.
We're kind of like his mistress. He's married to SNL, but we're his dirty mistress that he keeps in a little, pied-à-terre downtown.
Did you create Italian Jew and the Redheaded Gay? Was that you?
What?
Was that your sketch?
No.
That was Kids in the Hall, though, right?
I don't even know what you're talking
about.
The
Italian?
It must not be.
No, that doesn't sound like us.
No, that's the state.
That's the state.
Oh.
Yeah.
I tell him to do his research.
I know.
That was bad.
And he brought up the state.
I don't know why I thought that was you.
No, because we were around the same time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was a kid, by the way.
No, that's
I don't like the state. I don't like the state. I don't like the people in the state.
You don't? But there were so many. There was 18 of them.
There was
You had to
too
like
many.
someone.
Yeah. I guess. I just didn't like them. Did you like the state?
Obviously, I must have because I saw that fucking sketch.
Yeah.
And I thought it was them.
No.
But that was I was probably 10 or 11 then.
No, we were the same time as the state. I liked them very much. I thought there was just too many. That's my whole thing. It's just too many. We were 5. We were very good. That's a good number.
Five seasons.
5 seasons, 5 guys. Yeah.
And it was the 80s.
Everything
You guys
five,
were
five,
discovered
five,
in the
five.
80s.
Well, we were the 90s,
Okay.
but we started out. We were discovered in the 80s.
Right.
Yes.
So you were really at the peak of American comedy. You guys sort
Well,
of got.
I don't know. I mean,
They're Canadian.
right?
Oh, that's
Again,
true.
Jesus,
But
That's
but
two.
no, but Lauren
That's
Michaels.
two.
Lauren Michaels.
Hey, I love that Italian Jewish sketch. And let me
Me
tell
too,
you,
that's the best.
You guys
is really-
are the best
That is
American.
the best American sketch I've ever seen. That Italian Jew sketch.
No, that was the state, and we're Canadian. But keep at it, friend. Maybe we should go back to the feeder.
Yeah, that was
I
better.
think we're doing really well with the feeders.
Yeah.
No, Lauren is Canadian.
Oh, he is.
That's
Canadian.
right.
See, I didn't even know
He
that.
is.
Yeah, so we're his Canadian mistress, really. He married the American woman, but you keep a Canadian on the side. A bit of Canadian on the
that
side.
sounds perfectly correct. That
And it is
he
kind of
wasn't there, and you guys, because comedians do need to be able to go wild.
Yes.
they need to fucking go.
Yeah,
wild.
the lunatics do need to run the asylum in
Absolutely.
comedy. And I think that's something that's getting lost in comedy today. We're trying to give comedy things it can't handle. We're trying to make it like forward and progressive and moving
No.
the conversation forward and comic characters being admirable. What is that all about?
What me and Steve talk about a lot is just how everything is so corporatized.
Yeah.
Everything is so fucking corporatized. Like hey guys, you're representing AT&T with
Right.
this, you know what I mean? Like, so they can't be that subversive and toothless. And, and I think I started out with the Hollywood movies that they're just like, when's the last one that really fucking was a subversive, dark.
Borat, maybe.
What?
Borat.
Well,
He was.
that was pretty damn good.
That was pretty
But there has not been a massive Hollywood comedy hit in years. I'd say not since The Hangover.
Right.
Or,
Yeah.
Bridesmaids, hang but they all have to have a fucking wedding. I mean, if you look at all the biggest comedies of the past decade, Wedding Crashers, Hangover, it's all
Interesting.
surrounded a fucking wedding because
Isn't
they
that
gotta
interesting?
get the women
That's
to the
what it is.
comedy.
That
They
must
gotta
be
get the women
what
and
it
the date.
is.
They get the guy and the woman and go.
Yeah.
And we were talking about how women have to be male on stage. And the bridesmaid thing was all of it. They were so male on that. Like Melissa McCarthy was taking shits.
Well, it's hard for me to believe that they actually that was not a lesbian. Like I kept
Right.
going, that
Oh.
is amazing. That's not a dyke. I thought that was fascinating. Like
Yeah.
that thing about bridesmaids was fascinating. They pushed femininity to as far into the corner. They stretched it like I've never seen stretched before. Like quite beautiful. Like every kind of woman fit into that.
Right, the woman who gets her
canvas.
asshole bleached was in there.
Yeah,
Right.
but those are all things women would never have done in a previous generation.
Right.
It would have been very. So,
Who directed that one?
Oh, that was
Paul Feig?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Paul Feig.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's really good. I think it's a very funny movie. But I do think that comedy, like stand-up we were discussing,
Yeah.
there is an energy in it that whether you're a man or a woman or gay or straight or whatever, there's I wouldn't, we're not supposed to say it's masculinity, but you do have to be in control.
That's
And
very
so many of the
true.
great female stand-ups, particularly from our generation, were like that. There weren't a lot of like super feminine comedians, female comedians. Although there might
name
be
a
more
couple
now.
we were talking
How
about.
Rita Rudner? She's like an anomaly like Rita Rudner, but mostly it was like Roseanne and Sandra Bernhard and Ellen
Like in your
DeGeneres
face.
and Rosie O'Donnell and
Marsha Warfield.
Marsha Warfield when I was young. Now there's been an explosion of diversity in comedy, but when I first started out, very much so. And even like as a gay man, I knew that in order for me to conquer stand-up, I'd have to be in control in a way that gay men are just generally not used to. And you have to make straight men dance to your tune. And that's
Not
quite
easy.
difficult for a gay man. I'm very lucky because I grew up with 4 brothers. So I think that gave me a real, it gave me a
Is
real
everybody
insight.
gay in the family?
No.
I'm kidding.
But
That was a joke.
I
Wouldn't have-
just my dad and mom. That's it. That's it. Oh, 2 of them gay as could be. And they had all these boys. It was crazy. All these straight boys. I'm straighter than my dad, please. He's a much bigger queen.
But he had to keep up appearances. He
had to
worked
keep
at
up
the docks.
appearances, well, exactly. And he's married to this woman who shaves twice a day. So I shouldn't be saying this.
Of course you should.
But anyways, comedy's it's definitely changed an awful lot. But I know when I first started, I knew that in order for me to fit in, I had to show that
Was it a conscious thing that you knew going in, or
I don't know if it was conscious. I think it's subconscious, but the atmosphere was extremely negative when I first started.
What?
And stand up. I didn't even. I met the kids in the hall, and I was starting to do stand up at the same time. And the atmosphere was so abusive in the stand-up world that after my third appearance, like an open mic,
you were like, "Fuck it," right?
Well, people called me faggot in the audience.
God!
And the male,
is this Canada or America?
Canada. And when the male comedian introduced me, they would wipe the mic to wipe the AIDS germs off.
Oh my!
And I went, "You got to.
I don't need this.
You didn't even boil the water."
Well, you were working too. You were with kids in the hall, so you didn't need that.
And I thought, I don't need this shit.
No.
And so I knew that in that day and age, it was impossible. So I met, and that was it. You could not be an openly gay stand-up male.
Right.
You couldn't even be a male, even females. No one was. And so it was I met the kids in the hall, and I never looked back because I went, I don't need this. So I waited till a long time before I started doing it again. When I went,
you had some clout then, though. Once
I started, I was famous, but I wanted to not be a famous guy doing comedy. I wanted to really learn the art form because I really admire it.
How long did it take you to get good?
10 years.
Dude, I love that you admire the stand-up art form because I'm always amazed by it. The more I do it, it's like it is and you know who also said it was an amazing thing, and this is little known, I think, Henry Miller, the great novelist, who is like a hero of mine. Talk about a straight male.
Talk about a sexual writer too.
Yeah,
I mean,
no shit.
He'd know all about feeding. I think. Or he'd be interested.
He'd be an eater or a feeder.
He'd be an eater. But he wouldn't want to get fat. He'd be an eater and a puker.
Yeah.
He'd want to make the partner happy, but he'd be a purger. He'd be a binger and a purger. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be funny to pick out like I think Dickens was a feeder. Like someone like
So what were you saying? I'm sorry about Henry Miller.
Well, just that Henry Miller of all people talked about how he said in one of his novels, I should have been a clown. You know, I should, because he talked about just how there's so much to it. And that's what I realize about stand-up when I do it.
Right.
That you can go, it just challenges me to explore everything.
And it could be anything. It's just you, as long as you're doing it, it's stand-up.
Yeah.
You can go into voices and characters and storytelling and jokes. It's still all stand-up if it's you doing it. You know what I mean?
Right. And a couple of points. First of all, my favorite gay stand-up besides you is John Mulaney. And secondly...
You know what's so funny? Because that's
such a low blow.
Why is that a low blow?
I am always going on about John Mulaney and going, are you kidding me? How in the world is he not gay and I am? Like,
that's so funny. I knew that.
And he's not?
He makes you look like Marlon Brando.
Totally. And I go like, here's the thing. We're at a stage where the world can accept a gay acting straight man, but they're still not ready for an actual gay male comic.
Yeah, you don't
There's
think
still
so?
never been one. There's never been a gay male star.
Oh, shit, really?
Not one. Can you name me one?
Gay male comic. Let's see. There's
Who's
Nice
a super?
Clay.
Who's a super Dice Clay?
I just love doing that.
I wish. I wish. But
that's funny that you wish.
And I really do, which is not funny. But
that isn't funny.
It's sad, actually. That's sad.
Now that you're putting us on the spot, I really don't know.
You can't. Not one.
Superstar.
Gay male. Not even just a star.
But no, there is a comic.
Gay male star, stand-up star.
Well, there's a comic named Ty Rivera who's not a star.
Not a star.
Oh, he's not a star at all.
No, but he's very good.
I'm talking about a star, someone who
Ty is a militant guy.
who has specials, who can make in movies. They don't exist. There's never been.
But
one.
female.
Tons. It's totally.
What
different.
about closeted star?
That's different, and then we're not going to talk about that because I don't want to cancel.
Tim Allen closeted.
Tim
I mean,
Allen.
a lot.
Well, but to be fair, he did go to jail when he was.
That's true.
So we don't know if it's just situational homosexuality or if it's really in his heart.
He went to jail before he was a stand-up, I think.
He went to jail for cocaine.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he became.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And cocaine, as we know, is very prevalent in the gay world.
Yes, very.
I love talking like this.
So are prison fantasies. And quite often they go together. Quite often. Well,
for Tim.
On my channel.
For Tim.
Well, for Tim. Are you kidding me?
For what?
For Tim.
For Tim. Yeah, what is it about prison that turns people on? And because when you talk to people who are in actual prison, they are miserable.
Yes. How many actual prisoners have you talked to? Have you ever talked to an actual prisoner?
Dude, I got to tell you, I did in New York, and I was scared to do it. They bust, it was like 8 comedians, and I was one of them, into Rikers Island. Now, Rikers Island, and I was so frightened. I have a horrible fear about prison.
Oh, me too.
You do?
Oh, yes.
I really do. Like, I feel like, and I have felt like this for a lot of my life. I don't know why, but I feel like I'm going to wind up in jail.
I feel the same. I've always thought I'm going to end up in jail.
Are you serious?
Or on
so
the
we
street.
have that same too.
Yeah.
On the street or in jail
That's
or in
shame.
an institution.
That's a
3.
shame
Oh
thing.
my God, me and
That's
you, that's why we hit it off.
Those 3 things. And I don't know what I'd prefer, the street, an institution, or jail.
Street.
Jail.
Really?
Yeah, because I'd have my faculties. I'd have a boyfriend for sure. And I'd have 3 squares a day. So yeah, I think prison.
But not for the straight guys. That wouldn't be for the straight guys.
No,
That
the straight
wouldn't
guys
be
I think would probably choose the street.
the street. Yeah.
I don't know.
Right?
I'm torn between
A mental
all-
institution or a street.
Eddie has a plan for retirement. Do you want to share that with
Are you gonna
Scott?
are you gonna crack
Do you
up in
wanna-
public?
Do you want to share?
On
I was going to
TMZ?
adopt 2 very smart Asian children.
Right.
Soon. And have them earn money for me, you know? And I think that's the way, like, I want to adopt them when they're like, I don't know, 20. And they're engineers.
Yeah, already.
and,
Yeah,
you know.
very good.
And
Why not an engineer and a doctor? Why not an engineer and a doctor? Why don't you get 4 of them and they're all STEM? Science, technology, engineering, and math. 4 smart Chinese girls, all in STEM.
Oh, he wanted boys.
I wanted boys. I don't know why
I wouldn't
boys.
get no boys.
No.
Boys are not the future.
Can the women
Why would
earn
you-
like the men?
They're going to.
Okay.
You're not going to raise them in China, Eddie. You're going to raise them here.
North Hollywood apartment.
There we go.
The
Okay.
4 of them are going to be living with me.
Yeah, they're going to give
And
him an
I'm
allowance.
just going to have. I'm just gonna and I'll be able to not work, and I'm just gonna have on 3D
Virtual reality glasses?
3D virtual reality, like just watching porn
in
all
a
day.
warm tub.
Right.
And it's gonna be Asian porn.
Well, that's
and
the
it's gonna be
thing.
Asian.
I knew it was gonna be Asian porn.
anal
That's why you can't.
intruders.
That's why you can't afford adopted Asian daughters.
Aaron, can you believe this show? We're going out of the box. Usually we're talking about the government.
Yeah, the military-industrial complex.
The military-industrial
today's
complex.
care
We
less.
talk about that.
I couldn't care less.
Well,
I hate
now the-
politics.
Well, I just feel like it controls our lives.
Right.
That's why. And I don't know what you think, because you're a Canadian
I am.
living in
It's
America.
very different. So yeah, very different.
And
I come from a socialist country, so
Don't you think
where it
it's-
worked, by the way, it's just working.
don't you
Some
think
of
it's
it.
fucked? Some of it.
Some of it.
But don't you think it's fucked up, all the homeless people you see in L.A.?
I don't know what's going on. I have to be honest. This homeless situation.
The
is
rents go up and up and up.
really
People's
starting to
wages.
upset
Anyway,
me.
that's the politics.
Yeah.
I get into the injustice of it. I have
How
this,
do you get the funny out of that? You
It's not easy, but I do it.
Well, it's like a Mayan city, I told Eddie. Remember, did you see Apocalypto?
The greatest!
Oh,
it's
shit.
phenomenal! I
It's
was talking
phenomenal.
about that the other day going, I'm
The
sorry.
best Mel Gibson movie.
And because of what happened to him, you'll never know that he made a masterpiece.
It's a masterpiece.
And he's
I gotta watch that
He's
again.
derided as a racist, and I'm going, there is not a more beautiful film about what happened to the Native Americans than from that
Okay,
man.
so Los Angeles.
Oh, Apocalypto's genius.
Well, Los
That's what
Angeles.
Steve was
Oh,
saying.
it is.
It is brilliant.
I've seen it 4
It may be the
times.
best movie of the
Wow.
past decade. It's that good.
It
Do
is.
you watch Apocalypto as a Thanksgiving tradition?
Now, we watch it differently.
That might be
Wait.
good, actually.
I also find it incredibly erotic.
Oh,
Are you serious?
yeah, because there's half naked
they're
indigenous
half
men.
I find
naked.
Tron incredibly rough.
That's with the visor, you know, the 3D with the virtual.
The only thing I masturbate to lately, is Black Mirror.
And when you do, you take the tape off the camera because you're hoping that someone's going to shoot you and blackmail you. Are you one of those? Do you want to be like ritually shamed on the internet? Because that's another thing fetish people have.
Shame.
What?
The shame.
Where people like get paid to do horrible things and they're shamed, or someone will scrawl faggot on them in magic marker.
Do you
that
know the
sort or
story
they
of
get
Albert
paid.
Decker? Hollywood star.
Never heard of him.
When you get a chance, I should Google it now. Albert Decker, who was a character actor in Hollywood, was found in a shower.
Oh.
Interesting.
What was he doing there?
Tell me more.
Soap in his bum crack?
Yes. Check this out. Albert Decker, everybody. And this is, basically for my YouTube crowd. On May 5th, 1968, Decker was found dead in his Hollywood home by his fiancée, fashion model and future Love Boat creator Geraldine Saunders. He was naked, kneeling in the bathtub with a noose tightly wrapped around his neck and looped around the shower curtain rod. Oh. He was blindfolded. His wrists were handcuffed. There was a ball gag in his mouth, and 2 hypodermic needles were inserted in one arm. He was covered in explicit words and drawings in red lipstick. It was like cocksucker was written on him. And
so like an early cuckolder. Right? Like cucking.
Either that or some ritual.
Here is the craziest thing. The fucking LAPD said it was ruled the result of autoerotic asphyxiation. He was obviously murdered.
Yeah.
Because...
Or he died in a game. He wasn't maybe murdered on purpose.
Oh,
that
might
like the
be
NXS lead singer in NXS.
I wish more people would die during Match Game. That new one with Baldwin is so horrible.
Horrible.
Guys are talking about something I'm not even familiar with.
I don't know. I just went with it.
He doesn't know either.
Which one?
He
Match
just
Game?
went with it. He doesn't know what it is.
I just went with it.
You didn't know what Match Game is?
No, I don't
You
know.
didn't know?
Oh, I know
it's
the
that
original. Is it back?
Well, Alec Baldwin hosts it so bad.
Oh.
And they have all these just terrible... I don't know. It just reeks.
Alec Baldwin is the ultimate alpha banker fuck.
Yeah!
He's the alpha straight guy, and that's who they like to get to sell the bank shit. They get the like Sam Jackson, and you could be a guy like this.
Yeah.
You could be a man's man, someone you admire. Will fuck you in the ass and your family.
I don't know if you saw the movie Motherless Brooklyn.
No.
With the Ed Norton.
You said it was average.
Yeah. Well, it was too indulgent, It was too indulgent. It's like me when I get around chocolate.
Right.
Dark chocolate because he's vegan.
Oh, you like dark chocolate?
Not really.
No one does.
That's you
It's
can have
baker's
that.
chocolate for pretentious people, isn't it?
Semi-sweet chocolate.
It's semi-sweet.
It's baker's chocolate.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your mom would leave it out, and you'd take a bit, and you'd go, "This piece of shit." Did you realize that in 25 years, people would kid themselves that it was better?
In my household as a child, that was the best thing we had to cheat to find.
Why? Because there would be no.
Because it was Jewish, and we had no flavorful food in the house.
What do you mean?
You would have to steal.
Jews don't have flavorful food.
No. Did you hear Woody Allen talking about his mother put the chicken through the deflavorizer machine?
But that's what Wasp Stew did too.
Oh, really?
White people did that.
Okay.
I mean,
Mediterranean. Let's see. Italians. I'm Italian. They know how to cook.
Italians know how to cook.
Yeah. We're both Italian Jews, but it was the Jewish.
By the way, when I tell my father that I'm vegan, he's still alive. He's 87. He just goes, he looks at me, and he goes, "The fuck are you talking about? Does that mean you can't eat turkey?" He goes, and I go, "Dad, it's no meat." And I've told you this for 6 years. Every time I go over to his house, he's like, "I bought cold cuts."
Yeah.
I'm like, do you use that word in Canada, cold cuts?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't. No, some people don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But.
Me?
Who?
No, not you. I don't know. I think it's you. Anyway.
Cold cuts. Thinly sliced meat, motherfucker.
That would be so funny if he said, "I got the sliced meat, Eddie."
But he would go, "I wish you would have told me that before I went out and got the cold cuts." And I'm like, "I told you that for 6 fucking years."
He has amnesia.
You know?
He has amnesia over your veganism.
Do you know that one time, and the only reason I could say this is because he never watches anything I do like this, but we watched porn together.
What? What kind of porn?
It was like bondage.
Who chose it?
Oh, no. I came in.
And he had it on.
He had it on.
And he didn't turn it off.
No, because I totally caught him.
And
I sat down, and me and him are watching bondage pornography together. And I then wrote a play about it, and I think it's a brilliant play. However, it was lost because it was before computers.
Right.
And none of this is to brag that I have this kind of lifestyle with my parents. It's a true story, though, and I wrote a play about it, about peep show booths. Do you remember peep show booths?
Yeah.
Those are the good old
I remember
days.
peep shows, sure.
Because I grew up in New York City, and again, not to brag that I lived in a real city. You lived in Toronto? Were you from Toronto?
Yeah.
I like Toronto.
Yeah.
Have you been to Toronto?
I have not.
You should get there.
Amazing
There's
place.
a program that funds podcast people to get them to Toronto.
I've heard about that, actually.
Let's go just for laughs.
Just for laughs, exactly.
So you watch porn with your dad. I'm
That
fascinated
one
by
time,
this.
that was no, but
Do you
it
have,
was.
do you have similar tastes? I'm curious. Is it genetic?
I think so.
Yeah, interesting. I've always wondered if, like, I found my dad's browser history. If I go, we're into the
You don't
same
want to,
thing.
I don't
Well,
think.
I don't. Well, I know he's straight, so it would be
Yeah.
women. But so there wouldn't.
Right, but
there'd be
there would be an
intersectionality.
You had curiosity about that.
Well, I am curious. Yeah, like, I'm not. I don't think I'm.
Have you watched parents?
Squeamish.
Have you watched porn with your parents?
Thank God I've never. I think my parents are past all that. I don't think they're into
Really?
any of that.
I don't think
no.
people get past
No.
that.
I think my parents were sexual well into their like 80s. Before
Is that right?
before
Are they alive?
Well, yes, they are. My mom has got severe dementia, so she's incommunicado. She's slowly descending
Right.
into turning into like a sweet potato. It's just, it's terrible, you know.
Right,
but what are you
I
gonna
know.
do? But my dad is 91, and he lives on his own. He lives in a assisted living place.
He's a tough guy.
He's a tough guy, and he's the catnip for all the women because it's 10-1, right?
Oh, shit.
So he's a real catch, and he's
Those are the years
sharp
I'm waiting for to
he's
really
he's
make
actually,
hay.
He's doing quite well, and he's in his 90s. We recently took him to see his favorite performer of all time, Cher. And
There's an
Are you sure
intersectional-
he's straight?
that's what people say. This is the thing. People forget.
thieves, tramps, and thieves.
People forget that Cher, there was a time when Cher was just a sexy woman and not a gay icon. Like, you know what I mean? Before gay men
Yeah.
ruined her.
I remember as a kid growing up
She
going,
was
I like
so
Cher.
beautiful. You remember that Time cover when she was wearing basically just
Yes.
sequins? That was in our anything-
70s?
Yeah, the 70s. Anytime Cher was on a cover, it was in the living room, prominently displayed.
These are the Sonny and Cher years.
Yeah, and he had a scrapbook, and so we asked what he wanted for his 90th birthday, and he said, "Well, Cher's in town," and we went, "What, Cher?" And this is when my brothers were like, "Are you sure Dad's straight?" I go, "No, he's straight. He just he wants to see Cher." So we arranged it, and I arranged for him to meet her.
You
Which
did.
It's the best gift I've ever given.
Yeah, that's a
anyone.
great one.
And he just about lost his mind. She came out of the dressing room. It was all just for him.
How long ago?
6 months ago.
Wow.
And
Cher is touring?
She's touring. She's remarkable. And
Is she still young?
She was amazing. She came out of the dressing room, and I can't believe she did this for me. She came out of the dressing room and she said, "Where's that birthday boy I'm supposed to kiss?" And my dad said, "Right here, Cher." And she came over, gave him a big kiss on the lips.
No.
Yep. And then she went. She goes, "How you doing now?" He goes, "Much better now." And then she said, "Well, let's have another." She gave him another one. And then he peed his pants. But then, which at his age he does all the time. But there's a picture of him with Cher. He looks like a boy of 80. He's just happy. He still talk every time I call him. "Oh, I'm still thinking about that night with Cher."
Oh, my
Because when we were
Now
kids,
that is a great famous person,
Isn't it?
That is a wonderful famous person to do that.
I think so.
Like you made that guy's whole life.
Yeah,
You know.
and in the building where he lives, everyone he's like a star. They're so jealous of
Oh,
him.
there were pictures too,
Yeah.
right?
Well, there's pictures. Oh,
yeah,
God, there's
so he gets to show
great
off.
picture. There,
He gets to show
there I
off.
am with Cher. Yeah. He just can't stop talking about it.
Oh,
his girl.
God. That's great. That is great to do something like that.
Who
for
would
your
it be
dad.
for your dad? Who would the woman be for your dad?
Let's see.
He's 86, so-
Yeah.
Well, similar.
Lola Brigida.
I
No,
was going to
think
say,
yeah.
what about Angie Dickinson?
Angie Dickinson. Yeah. Is
When she
still
was very
alive?
young.
Yes,
She is. If I could introduce my dad.
Julie Newmar.
Is she still alive?
Yeah, Raquel Welch.
This is the Scott.
that would be a big
Scott,
one.
you make some good lists, man.
I do.
Yeah.
I know bombshells.
Eddie, if you get really famous, like in the next year, you should really do this for your dad.
Yeah.
Get him together.
Dad, I want you to meet Angie Dickinson. She sings.
Does she?
Yeah, I don't know if she's not a big singer.
But who would your dad have loved?
I'm trying.
Like growing up watching television.
He liked all those hotties,
Yeah.
you know. Who were the hotties? Like Raquel Welch.
Oh yeah.
Marilyn Monroe.
Well, Marilyn was my favorite of all time.
I like Marilyn Monroe too.
And I also think she was a great actress too. I thought she could do comedy.
She was fucking
could drama.
hilarious.
She was hilarious.
Absolutely.
Gentlemen Prefer Blondes is probably my favorite comedy.
Is that right?
Yeah. Way out there. Top 5 movies of all time. Her and Jane Russell together are.
Do you like
the
Barbara
greatest.
Streisand?
We were discussing this the other day with a group of gay men of a certain age.
I'm curious
which
about
happens.
that as well.
Not really.
Oh, good.
I liked the young Barbara.
I know.
Before she soured.
But when she
Before
was funny.
Yeah, when she was funny. Before she decided, what was that? I want to be beautiful more than funny. And that can happen.
happened to Eddie Murphy too, as a man. I'm telling you, as a comedian, Eddie Murphy, I think he was a very funny dude.
And attractive.
And he got more into, and then he started doing
into
these
his body.
romance movies, kind of.
No, but that wasn't the end.
I don't think that was.
That wasn't the end. The end was when he.
Tell me.
The teeth went out of him when he stopped being angry and
He had too much money.
I don't know what maybe he had kids. It's possible that he had kids.
9 kids.
But that's who I grew up wanting to be. Was Eddie Murphy. I grew up wanting to be Eddie Murphy.
Right, because he was a
understand
great
that.
stand-up.
He was a badass.
I wanted to be
motherfucker.
Flip Wilson. That's who
love
I grew
Flip
up
Wilson.
wanting to be.
I loved his show.
Yeah, me
when
too.
I was growing
And
up.
he's not
The devil
talked about.
made me do it.
Yeah. What was it? Killer. Killer was their boyfriend.
Killer.
Yeah, and people don't talk about Flip Wilson. He was
in a dress
remarkable.
doing that character.
He played women. He played men.
Was he gay?
I don't know. I don't think so. Nothing's ever come out about it. But I don't think he when he died he was married. I think it's something I should probably research because I want to play. Could I play him in a movie? In 2019. Are we woke enough yet?
Well, your prime minister does a lot of blackface.
So I go.
Maybe a Canadian-funded production of the Flip Wilson.
Yeah.
Has he recovered from that, Trudeau?
He did, I think so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he can get away with murder. You know, it's incredible what he can get.
Good-looking
when
fella.
you have a pretty face.
Yeah, he's got a pretty face.
Yeah, and he's royalty in Canada. His father was Pierre Trudeau, who was the prime minister for most of my childhood. I mean, he was 4 terms.
Wow.
Yeah, 4. Like, I mean, I think even told he was on power for almost like 14
Do you think he's
years.
doing a good job?
Okay.
Yeah.
There's things I don't like about him. There's things I find disingenuous. I think he's kind of phony. And I also think that I don't like finger waggers. People are like, oh, no, and he's super woke all the time. And I always think those are people hiding something. That's what I think.
He's super woke.
Super woke. Like, you know, why do you have 50% women in your cabinet? Because it's 2019 or whatever. And I'm like, it's 2018, but anyway.
It's symbolic activism.
A lot of
The
virtue
woke
signaling.
thing,
Yeah.
We're going to listen to a couple.
We have calls?
We have a couple of calls that
calls?
came
Oh,
in.
that's a good sign. People are listening.
Yeah, Scott, you can call. You could call in to our show, 424-262-0904, and leave a message for me, Steve, and comment on this episode with Scott or anything that's on your mind. And we have email as well. You can email us at fanmail@peptalkspodcast.com. And we want to do a commercial. Would you read our commercial?
Sure.
Okay. Here you go. This is Burbank New Year's Eve.
Oh, okay. Just go. No rehearsal. Just go into it.
Yeah, just go.
Okay.
I mean, you're a pro, and I expect it'll be good.
Come celebrate New Year's Eve in good old Burbank, USA. Watch in amazement as Burbank's own IKEA counts down to midnight by lowering the traditional jar of marinated herring and mustard sauce from its 4-story parking structure all the way down to street level. Cheerleader and local funny girl Becky Jones says, every year it's the event of a lifetime. The world-famous Burbank institution Bob's Big Boy will have its animatronic Big Boy pairing off against the equally famous Burbank Fuddruckers live-action Jay Leno. Actually, I hear more live than Jay is nowadays. For the 10th annual New Year Grudge Match. The Burbank Chronicle says New Year's in Burbank is a dizzying festival of secondhand hookah smoke and overworked union scabs. It's guaranteed to be a night best spent in a bathtub with a bottle of rye and a handgun. Come to Burbank on New Year's Eve and be sure to come early because everything ends at 8.
That was great,
That
Scott.
was so fucking great.
Because sometimes I'll hand the ads, and thank you, Burbank Historical Society, for that. They're great, and please pay us though.
Yeah, and Matt Rasamoto, our producer who writes the
Yes,
ads.
Matt. Right.
Oh, that was
Thank you,
good.
Matt.
Do you like? Don't you love the parking lot of Big Boys with all the men in their cars?
Yes, every Friday.
Yeah, every Friday. I love going down there to see them, how happy their cars are. And I go, God, I wish my retirement would be that easy. Like I go, it seems to be all these guys need is I can't wait to retire and have an old antique junker. And they're happy. And I'm going, that's just not going to work
And they,
for
right.
me.
Yeah, and they have a convention every Friday at the big.
Yeah, it's every Friday. Have you ever seen it?
I've been by it.
Oh, I
I've-
go there
yeah.
all the time. And
You
it's,
do?
Yeah.
There's something very 1950s about
It's
the whole thing.
so
yeah.
old.
I like everything. I don't know. I like everything throwback. Like I like
do
Art
too.
Deco.
Oh, I do too.
You know, are you an Art Deco?
I like everything pre 1980. Anything
Yeah.
that's before 85. Yeah.
Did
Music,
you see the
everything.
Joker?
Yeah, that was great.
You liked it?
Yeah, very much.
Have you seen it?
I have seen it.
And you
yeah.
didn't like it, I don't
I thought it was good. I mean, what I liked about it was the way it was shot.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Right? The way it was shot. And Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh, his performance is wonderful.
He's good.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
good. But I feel like it didn't have like a point of view. Like, what was the fuck? It was so bleak, too.
It is bleak.
Was it not bleak?
I
like,
think it was
is that
a-
really what we need right now? Like,
Well-
I am a big fan of Frozen.
Frozen 2.
Well, Frozen 2.
Well, Frozen 2 is terrific. The way they ran with that whole premise of everything being frozen.
Again.
I am waiting for the defrosting.
You got it. You got to say that on stage. That's fucking great.
Defrosting.
Are you ready to listen to some of our crazy
But I have to be
fans?
I did hate Frozen.
I didn't see it.
Oh, you saw it.
I did not.
It's
You did?
Well, you're gay.
terrible.
That's
I did.
exactly.
I hated it.
Was it? Yeah. Is it Disney? Right.
One good song, and that's it.
You gave it a
One-
chance, though.
Everything is frozen at 32 degrees centigrade.
0 Celsius.
They're all pissed that the global warming is melting everything. Did they have anything to say about the climate?
I don't remember.
Obviously not.
Everybody was frozen. It was really chilly. I don't know. It's just a lot of empowerment. Anthems.
Scott, we have a couple of calls we're going to get to
Okay.
right now. People leave messages for us. You could also text us too. Let's see. We got an email too, but here we are. Eric John in Scranton. Okay. Let's go to the calls. Here we are. Let's see.
Do we have any feeders?
What?
Any feeders?
Well, we might.
Because this must be their holiday, Thanksgiving. Must be the
that
feeder
makes a lot of
holiday.
sense.
It's a little weird to be kind of working. I mean, I don't consider this work too much, but it's weird
is it-
the day before
Do
Thanksgiving.
you always get a foreigner on the day before Thanksgiving? Because we don't have because this is not.
Oh, this
Thanksgiving
is
for
not
me.
free.
No.
You don't do it.
We do it 6 weeks ago, like normal people.
Oh, really?
Like normal
You're
people.
like
a normal Northern Hemisphere
right?
person.
Is
yeah.
That's your
right?
6 weeks ago. Was your Thanksgiving?
We do Thanksgiving at the
What
end of
day?
the harvest. It's the
Oh,
first
the end of-
Thursday
that
in
makes
October.
sense.
Yeah.
That
First
makes
Thursday in
sense.
October. And
Yeah.
it's got nothing to do. There's no native thing. There's nothing. It's about one thing, the harvest.
Right.
Yeah, that
And it's
sounds
not-
better.
And it's
that sounds
6
better.
weeks ago.
Do you cook turkey like
It's the same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah, same kind of food.
is side dishes your favorite thing?
Side dishes.
Eddie
yes.
Pepitone. These are the things that go
Side
through
dishes,
his head.
Your favorite thing? Yes.
I'm sure there's a
We call
podcast.
it dressing and stuffing. Yes, we do both. But no, we do not. See, I don't understand American Thanksgiving because
Why?
Because it's so close to Christmas. It doesn't make any sense to me why you would put them so
The
close
gluttony
to
of
each other.
it?
Yeah,
It is gluttonous.
It really speaks to a country in love with capitalism.
Absolutely.
Oh, now we're getting onto something here.
That's what I think. It really that you can actually turn the holiday season into an entire
well, we
2
have Black
crazy.
Friday.
That's
dude.
I never heard of that before I came down here.
You know what? If we have a Black Friday where everybody goes shopping,
right?
Shouldn't we have a Jewish Tuesday where nobody spends any money? I had to do that. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
We don't have a Black Friday, but we have Boxing Day, which is the day after
But
Christmas.
see, I thought Boxing Day, that pissed me off.
Why
As an American,
Why?
I didn't like it. First of all, I don't like it. It has nothing. I'm a boxing fan. I used to be a boxing fan.
but it's not about that. It's about the Boxer Rebellion.
Is it?
Yeah, it's about.
It is not.
It's
the Chinese Boxer Rebellion. What happened?
I don't know.
Oh, are you lying?
I am lying.
You
that's
fucker.
funny.
I thought I was going. I wonder if he's going to get that reference, and you did.
At least you gave it up. You could have really played that as
I used to
practical
do.
joke.
I used to do a Boxer Rebellion joke. Believe it or not.
Oh my God.
No one in China does a Boxer Rebellion. That's amazing.
This is what I would used to do. I used to
Boxer
say.
Rebellion.
I used to say to the crowd. My persona is this on stage. Is this immensely angry blue collar guy?
Right.
And I go.
Who's read a lot of books?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I go, I used to love to antique. I used to love to go antiquing. And I would one time I got a miniature replica of the Boxer Rebellion. That's all it was.
That's it.
Did people laugh?
Not many.
No.
But I always did it for me because I thought it was hilarious, a miniature
Well, I've been
rebellion.
doing a Magna Carta bit, and I refuse to let go of it. I just
No,
I enjoy it.
Right.
I enjoy it.
I think there are some things that we need for
Yes.
ourselves.
Yeah. Yes.
And for me, it was the Boxer Rebellion.
But you don't do it anymore, so
Boxer Rebellion.
I haven't done it.
Do you know, can you tell the audience what the Boxer Rebellion was about?
since you don't know,
I don't
and I
know.
don't
Thank
know.
you.
I don't know either.
I don't really know.
Either.
But I'll tell you something.
We can find out,
Look it
though.
up.
This internet thing is just so terrific.
But it was in China, right? And
It was in
Had
China.
to do with opium? Was it an opium thing?
Probably.
I'm thinking it's an opium
Here
thing.
it is.
I hope so.
Now, let's just, so we know for now.
I'm just
on,
going to
for
say the
random
British,
estimate.
opium, and China. Those are the three
That could be.
things.
Here it is. The Boxer Rebellion, or Yi Tuan movement, was an anti-imperialist, anti-foreign, and anti-Christian uprising that took place in China between 1899 and 1901. Toward the end of the Qing dynasty. How would you pronounce that?
King? Queen?
I think you're right. It was initiated
Queef?
by the Militia United. That's what I was thinking. The Queen died. Well, I think it's time. The box. Okay, so it's kind of boring, all this shit. The
was-
boxers,
There's no opium involved.
Yeah, I think it's opium.
Okay,
Tea? Is it tea?
as the boxers, because many of their members
It's got to be about two things. Tea
had
or opium.
been.
This is why it
Oh,
didn't-
it was about chamomile.
Oh
I'm
my
kidding.
gosh.
Wouldn't we- It's a
You
celestial.
shouldn't have let him up on that. You should have kept that going.
Are you?
and
That's where chamomile started.
Let him fucking believe.
Hold it! It's a whole celestial seasonings. Morning thunder, peppermint.
What's the name of the pirate who threw the first
It's
load into
way
the harbor?
complicated. No wonder I don't know this shit.
There's opium.
And by the way,
dynamite. Is dynamite involved?
it explains why it's not.
Well, they invented
You're taking
dynamite. They
all-
invented dynamite.
That's right. You're
They did.
taking all the
At the least-
like main.
All that I know about ancient
Yeah,
China.
yeah.
Put
This-
it in one tweet.
Was there jade involved?
Explains why this did not get laughs when you did it.
Well, I think that's funny for a blue collar guy. To me, that's always funny. A blue collar guy who's such a crude,
Yeah.
primal,
Yeah.
yet he knows
I know.
shit. And it's really what I'm doing. And I've realized this for many years with my dad, who is super blue collar, but he has an
Incredible,
intellectual side.
Mm-hmm.
Now the primal won over in the case of my dad.
Right.
He wasn't like professorial, But
Well,
he
it-
wanted to be. He listened to Mozart. He got me into classical music. He listened to Mozart, Beethoven, Franz Liszt. all
We have
these-
very similar upbringing. We have very similar family backgrounds because this is exactly what my dad is as well, like a layman intellectual guy.
Is that right?
Yeah, who never got, never advanced with
that's-
education
that's-
formally, but read and watched, and we had art and we had music and comedy in the house.
Oh.
And there was no.
What were you going to say? Were you going
That's
to?
that's the kind of man I wanted to marry.
Is
Like
that
a blue
right?
collar guy who had a secret
intellectual
side to them.
They're out there, man. They're out there, but they're all straight. Aren't they all straight? I don't know. No,
generally, yeah. I'm sure that there could be a gay man made like that. I mean,
let's listen to a call from
I've never
Eric.
met them, but Purple Harem. Did you say
Eric?
A purple harem. Where's Freud going in your head? Oh my God.
Did you get into rock?
Well, I had, as a kid.
Well, as a kid, as a teenager, as an adult?
I really loved R&B and soul music. That was what I loved.
Marvin Gaye?
Yes, but I wasn't allowed to listen to it because that marked me as, that was a gay thing.
Really?
Back then, yeah. Because there were no black people when I grew up and where I grew up. So I loved black music, and so that marked you as gay. So I listened to what my friends listened to was Pink Floyd and
I love that.
Supertramp.
Did you like that or
yeah, Led Zeppelin.
Fuckers.
I do. I love.
You had
Led
all
Zeppelin.
the best fucking music.
Yeah, we had a lot of good music.
I grew up. It was
That's
all
right.
like tampon selling energy drink. It all.
Yeah, no,
sounded like.
I did grow up in that era. That was my
Yeah, me
definitely
too.
era.
Me too. Led Zeppelin. I remember the first time
You heard Pink Floyd.
I had Pink Floyd
that.
on the headphones
Me
when
too.
headphones just came
Me
out.
too.
And the sound went, and I was always high back
Yeah,
then.
me too.
I was always smoking,
yeah.
And,
We used to like hyperventilate. We would put it on, get high, and then
and then have a
hyperventilate
panic attack
until we fainted. Oh my God! And then someone would
Oh,
come
the
behind.
hyperventilating
Do you remember
was
that?
scary
And
to me.
You would squeeze the
that
guy.
was scary to me.
That's a panic attack, dude.
It's funny, and kids have been doing it they still do stuff like that.
Right. Now they do it with a vape pen.
I mean, I guess so, but they still squeeze themselves until they pass out, don't they?
Till they come.
I hope kids. Well, kids are gagging. They're still gagging, right? They're gagging. Can you imagine being 12 years old and the first thing you see is gagging porn?
It happens
Well,
these
this
days,
is
I would imagine.
That's pretty fucking disturbing.
Yeah.
I saw Suck Me Sika. That was my first porno.
What was
that I saw?
Was that a Swedish woman?
It was she was
Blonde?
an American,
I remember her.
huge breasts.
Yeah. Oh, she's
white blonde hair.
Right, blonde hair.
Yeah,
but
you know
she was.
Sika?
I know.
I think I know
She was
Sika.
giant. She was huge.
She was
Huge.
He physically and in the porn field.
Yeah.
And that was the first porn, and it was lesbian porn, and I never recovered from seeing that. I mean, in a good way
Right.
and bad way.
My first porn would have
Lesbian
been.
porn.
Yeah.
You never recover.
I mean,
No.
that was like what Pink Floyd was for you in the headphones. The porn.
You're
was,
not supposed to recover from that.
No.
I don't think. Not really. I don't think so. My first porn would have been like a magazine that I found in the woods, that sort of moldy magazine, and it would have been from Sweden. Probably,
Sweden.
yeah.
Germany.
And the first
What's
time I
up
saw
with
any
those
sex was I'm Curious Yellow, which was an actual movie. Do you remember
I know.
that? With actual hardcore sex in it, and they showed
there
it on
hardcore sex?
Yep, and they showed it on Canadian television at midnight. This is how weird the 70s were when I grew up.
70s.
They had a thing called the Midnight Movie, Midnight Blue Movie. In
Canada?
Regular TV.
Wow.
At midnight, they would show porn.
Did they edit it or no?
No.
That's amazing.
No.
So in ways, well, it's
that
actually
weird?
Yeah.
That's way ahead of us.
Way-
we
And
never had.
And that
Did you
didn't.
have
But that
No.
they wouldn't do that now.
no.
Or even here in the 70s, they weren't doing that.
No.
There's a
when you were watching
Christian-
Elvira, we were watching like porn from Sweden.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? It didn't last very long, but it was this
The
beautiful
closest-
era.
It was enough.
The closest we got to porn was Walter Cronkite announcing the Kennedy assassination.
Oh, I jacked off to that. Oh God.
This is the way. It was like that.
How old were you, Scott?
It was like
7?
that.
No,
I also
4.
I also jerked off to it, and it was like this.
Oh yeah.
President Kennedy has died, and I was like, ah!
He didn't even touch himself. He just ejaculated.
No, because it was the end of innocence in this country.
I guess so. Whatever. Whatever you guys tell yourself.
You're Canadian.
To get
Just
through the
whatever
night.
you say.
Yeah, whatever you
my
say.
You American.
God.
Whatever you guys say. Like if you want, okay, you're right. Whatever you guys want to tell yourself is fine with me.
How long have you lived here in
On and
in
off.
the States?
20
on and
years.
Off. 20.
Yeah, I mean, this last period only 4. I've gone back and forth. I went back home 10 years ago when I got sick. I had cancer, so I
wow.
had to go home because I had to have health care, and that's when I decided to really work on stand up. And so I came back.
I remember this
3
now.
years ago because I thought.
How are you doing health-wise?
Very
you look
good.
great.
Yeah, thank you. I'm doing really well.
Oh, good.
And I'm a vegan. No, I'm not a vegan.
Not a day goes by where I don't have a bit of tofurkey and a.
That's that Walter Cronkite.
Do you really like
He does a tofurkey turkey.
It's okay.
Right?
No one.
It's
really
okay.
Likes it, though, do they?
You know, it's okay. I don't miss meat anymore, except when I'm around it and smell it a lot.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, oh God, but I don't. Because, and like we talked about at the beginning, it has to be this compassion for animals and not wanting them to be slaughtered the way they are, and abused, and that whole culture. So I like it.
By the way,
Yeah, I
there was
agree.
just a executive order signed or something, a law
I
passed.
can't believe Trump did
Trump
that.
fucking passed a law making all animal abuse a federal crime.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So
Things are looking up in the American political
he's
system.
pandering to the vegan, but that's good.
Some of my best friends are vegan. They're amazing. They're amazing people. They're doing an amazing job. God, the American political system is just a shambles.
Is it? I don't know. Is it really?
Oh my!
I don't know. I've seen it worse.
Really?
Like I don't.
I think it's
maybe the
it's-
system is, but the country seems to be doing okay.
Yeah, the system is the country.
Country's,
Half of the country's doing
The system's
okay.
holding.
Oh my gosh,
It
I
is
don't
holding.
know, man.
I'm not saying it's not going to crumble, but it is holding. For now.
I'm not going to say it's not going
Things
to
will get
crumble.
worse before they get better.
It is going to crumble. I just
Yeah.
assume
All empires
you have
crumble.
to accept it. I always say,
All
like,
empires crumble, and this one, the target date I hear is 2030, when
You mean
it'll
like
be done.
Like I mean,
10 years.
So do you think it'll be like a kind of an unraveling, like the Soviet
It's
Union?
already unraveling,
Oh, it is
but-
unraveling. Yes.
Like the Mayan.
Yes, like the Soviet Union.
Soviet Union?
In the last couple of years, that's what happens. It happens quick.
Well, and then when it did happen, it went like that. It just those
Right.
last few dominoes went like
Right.
boom, 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 boom,
right,
boom, boom.
right. And
So,
if Trump builds that wall,
well,
right?
I don't think
then it'll be
You can't even blame
knocked
Trump. He's
out.
just a symptom. I think it would have happened.
He is a symptom. Good for you. You see, I thought you didn't know about politics.
No. It's going to happen anyway. So I always say to people, let's have fun. America's always going to punch up culturally. It's always going to punch above its weight culturally, and you're going to become like England. England doesn't dominate the world, but who cares? It still is
functioning.
It still leads one of the leaders of the world culturally, and for
It
me,
is,
that's
yeah.
all I really care about. I don't really care about oil or gas or any of that other crap.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just care about culture.
Are you afraid of ecocide? The climate just. I mean, because every scientific report that comes out, and we'll get back to Cher in a minute. Cher in a minute, but
Yeah.
every I like mixing that, by the way, real heavy.
Yeah, and share.
Yeah, Eddie.
And stuff that's just pop.
You're sort of a comedy ballet artist at that. With the
You are. I knew
mixing
that.
the fucking really, man.
I do that because I realize you can't. Because I get a little heavy with audiences. I'll do something like this. I'll do, folks. You
Like
know, we're in.
ecocide's not a funny word.
Well, I'll talk to people. You know, it's over, right, folks? Like big crowd Saturday night
At the Comedy
At the
Store.
Comedy Store,
do
the
that.
main room. Yeah. I'll just start
You
talking.
open with that.
You know the Arctic shelf?
He has. I've seen
Only
him.
you could
with
open with that.
He has opened with that, and then he has to pull it out of there. He has to pull it up out of there.
And in the middle of telling them, I mean, the Arctic shelf is melting, California's on fire, cities are flooding, we should be underwater. And thank you for coming, by the way, tonight. A lot of people don't like me for that, including the owners.
Well, I don't.
I feel like comedy should fucking say something.
Of course it should.
They
It
keep
should.
putting you on. They know you're funny.
Yeah. Well, I make up for it. I
But
talk about coming during the
Yeah,
Kennedy
that's right.
assassination.
Yeah, listening to porn in your car. Listening to porn in your car. And now you've got the eaters and the feeders.
My line about listening to porn in the car is I say, porn has gotten way too violent. It's gotten way too violent. I won't watch it anymore. People are hung from hooks and black hoods. They're whipped and spit on, and I come too quickly. So I just...
I can't laugh because I've heard that 100 times. So I can't give it that. But that's so validating to have him.
It's a funny...
It's pretty funny.
It's a funny... But are you worried about ecocide at all?
Well,
Or not really? Because I was talking to my chiropractor.
I'm not going to see it. I worry about.
We timed our lives right.
Yeah,
as far as
we did.
being part of this great mass extinction.
I don't think that's going to happen.
You don't?
I think the humans are going to figure it out. I think we're going to be around for thousands of years.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, that's an
we're
upbeat. Do
gonna
you
be
think
around
so,
for
Steve?
I'm-
Because you're ultimately positive too.
Yeah, I actually do. I don't know how.
Steve and
I don't know how. Because like I said, this is like the Mayan city from Apocalypto, Los Angeles. They don't know it's in decline. They keep fucking building. There's no rain. There's constant dirt in the air, and everybody's worshiping cocaine.
Where they're worshiping cocaine and they're killing people and there's human
chopping people's head
sacrifices.
off. Right.
You've got to see Apocalypto.
I've seen it, but I have to watch it again because
it's so brilliant because it does. It's not like one of those movies where it lays all the blame on the Europeans. It gives the native people. It treats them honorably to say the native people were smart enough to fuck up on their own. They didn't need the Europeans to come around.
Right.
When the Europeans came,
don't come till the end of the movie.
they were already fucking themselves up.
Right.
And I thought that was beautiful because so many people nowadays in progressive politics, they're so easy. They'll just attack Europeans or white people or colonialism, forgetting that the people that were there before were also human beings who were screwing up too. So when the Europeans
how were they
come
screwing
in,
up?
well, the same way we are, by environmental degradation.
Oh, they were
by losing
I
themselves.
thought they were so much more in touch with.
No, but that's
not
just another
Apocalypto.
form of racism, isn't it?
Well,
to think of them as noble is just.
It's fashionable, sort of projecting a utopian fashionable thing on diversity because
right.
you want to think all the brown indigenous cultures did it right and didn't always happen that way.
No, like in Apocalypto, you're looking at them and going, wow, they're sacrificing each other.
Well, that's
they're killing
fucked up.
their
They're
land.
sacrificing.
And they're losing
They used to do that
themselves
on pay-per-view, didn't they? There was some kind of
Late night in Canadian TV.
They did.
Human sacrifice.
Ladies and gentlemen,
and then the bubble burst.
we will be sacrificing a virgin tonight, like a Michael Buffer.
But Apocalypto doesn't go, oh, those nasty Europeans. It goes, nasty people, which is
It's beautiful. It's an amazing movie.
And Eddie, they only wear loincloths.
Well, I want to warn you, you will not find it erotic.
I won't.
No,
I don't believe
there's almost
you will.
no women.
I could be
in
wrong.
It.
No women.
And
Right,
the
I
only-
remember
the only
that.
There's
woman
one
is
pregnant woman.
and she spends it at the bottom of a pit.
and trying to not drown.
Oh, that's
Right.
horrifying.
It's horrifying.
And it's a love story.
And she has
It's
the
all-
baby
she has
in the fucking.
All right, don't ruin it for
No,
me.
it's incredible.
It's incredible.
And the love story for him trying to get back to her.
Yeah.
I gotta
Also,
watch it.
the sort of
It's-
mystical part of it with the prognostication of
And
the.
I remember it was-
Jaguar. It's a beautiful.
I remember it was
beautiful film.
heavy, too.
And it's not. There's no English in it. It's all in the indigenous
It's all
language.
subtitles. Yeah.
It's It really is too bad that Mel Gibson's fuck up will mean that we are denied this beautiful film.
Hold it, but we could still watch
It's
that
out
one,
there,
right?
but
and
it
it will.
didn't.
Or did they erase that?
It
No.
didn't. No, it didn't get like the critical acclaim and advertising that the Green Book or Joaquinix falling in love with his iPhone or the college professor or the dressmaker or the fucking
Dressmaker.
the fucking
What are you
What a
talking
weird
about?
one to go after.
the dressmaker
You're not
or
talking
the,
about
Daniel Day-Lewis and that shit or
I didn't
or the
see
king
that.
who can't speak right
Well,
or
I
the
like that one too.
the suffering ballerina.
I love
all
that.
my favorite movies.
Yeah.
I loved.
Well, we can agree on Apocalypto.
Yeah.
I love The Dresser with Albert Finney.
Stop that train! You remember?
Did you ever see The Dresser?
No, I don't know that.
Who was his dresser?
Albert Finney. Stop that train!
What
Albert
a great
Finney and
King Lear he was.
The Queenie dresser.
Yeah. Oh, he.
Yes. Tom Stopper? No, he was a playwright.
No, that's
Like
a
Tom
playwright.
something. Tom. Oh, what happened there?
Is that your chair?
I got so excited about that because it's one of my favorite comedies.
I've never seen it. Never seen
Comedy.
this movie.
Well,
Well, it's a tragedy.
Yeah, it's a tragedy,
But
but
it's
it's
just so
really
funny.
yeah. Isn't Finney amazing?
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Movies were like that. Like tragic movies were fucking hysterical.
Well, that's
the
the thing.
Cuckoo's Nest. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's
Why
Nest.
can't a movie be everything?
Cuckoo's Nest was so fucking
That's
good.
a great movie. That's a
So
great movie.
good.
Yes.
Another masterpiece. Would you think my
Irishman
going?
was good. I saw.
Oh,
Did
it was
anybody
good?
see it? Are you into that? Pacino,
Was
De
that
Niro?
straight guy? Maybe
That's
straight guy
such
stuff?
You know,
Look.
I'm so sick of everyone saying that the best movie in the world ever was The Godfather. A good movie, but it's no Mame. It's no Hello Dolly. You know what I mean? I'm just.
Anti-Mame.
Okay, wait.
Rosalind Russell?
but
Was that Rosalind Russell?
This is really interesting. So, do you think this is straight? Because I
Yes,
have my one
yeah.
super gay artist friend. I have one buddy who's I love him, and he's right on about all the shit, but he hates the straight guy shit.
He does?
And do you think this is straight guy stuff?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I do.
Yeah.
Like, I think, I think
Yeah.
so many males, and things are changing now, they love a male that performs masculinity perfect. And those are always considered the best actors, but they're really just the actors who can perform masculinity the best.
But you miss that era of art.
I miss that era, and I'm not saying that I don't think The Godfather is a great movie, but I prefer, it's no Clockwork Orange, which is my other favorite movie.
Do you like that one?
Yeah, so I got a lot of.
you
I got some
That's
quirky
a
corners.
sick little fucking movie.
What about Lynch? Do you like David Lynch?
Very much.
Oh, you
So
do?
that's he has an abstract because your art, your work
yeah.
is abstract,
absolutely.
bizarre
Oh, yeah.
comedy. So
I like that stuff.
I do too.
Oh, I love
even
David
though
Lynch.
even though people put me off of watching the reboot of Twin Peaks.
It's
Did I
fucking
miss
great.
anything?
No,
I didn't
it's-
get through it.
Oh, you did?
I
No.
did. I think it's great.
Did you?
Yeah.
He loved it. And
I watched
I'm like,
it all together though. I watched the first, then I watched the Fire Walk with Me, and then I watched, and it's all one thing. It's all one work of storytelling. You have to watch. You have to see it.
No, I
sort
love
of.
I love him.
Yeah,
I love mad storytellers.
Did you like, what was that crazy movie in the Valley? Mulholland
Mulholland Drive.
I love that too.
That was, I mean, it's so trippy.
Well, I love that audition scene. Remember when she comes in?
Yeah.
remember it.
Yes.
And she
Why don't I
does that.
remember
Yeah.
movies?
She's just a bot. She's like a.
unbelievable. And
Yeah.
then she does that audition scene with Chad Everett, that old
Chad Everett
Yeah.
of Medical Center?
And
Starring Chad
they
Everett.
start making out. It's a beautiful scene.
I
It's
like
really
when they go
amazing.
to the show.
Oh, that's a great
When they
scene.
go to the show and they're transferred into some alternate reality.
Yeah, that's really
oh
cool.
God.
Yeah.
Look at this. We got some messages about Scott. I want to read them.
I read the negative ones.
No.
So someone
Well,
can
I don't
come.
know if there's-
somewhere someone can come.
If there's a negative one, I'll read it. But this one's
Ask them what they want me to eat. Tell them what kind of food they want me to eat.
Liz Piet, Piet Riot, she goes by on Twitter. Liz, she's a friend of ours. She's not. She's a great fan of the show. This is fucking awesome. Please have Scott back. He should be a regular guest. I love the three of you together. Aw, that's nice. Hell yes. Yeah, that's it.
Sorry,
no
Scott.
negative.
No negative,
Please send in
buddy.
a negative
Damn
review.
it. Damn it. That's so not hot.
We got some phone calls. We'll listen to one or two. Here we go.
Hey, Eddie, it's Eric again. I'm digging my heels in. You should eat some local cheese and homestead and live life and love and pet cows and do whatever you want because it's 100 companies producing 71% of global greenhouse gas emissions, and we're just living in it and just keep living in it. Do it. Yeah.
What was that all about?
Those are our calls sometimes.
What does he mean by that? First of all, cheese.
I don't
You
think
don't eat
it's-
cheese.
This is not meant to be deconstructed, Scott.
But what do you eat? Nut cheese?
Here's
I've
a
seen
good-
that in the supermarkets, and I'm wondering what that's like.
Yes.
And what's it like?
It's okay. It's it's not cheese,
cheese.
but
It's pretty good.
I don't
It
miss.
can be.
I love fake meat. I love fake cheese, and I love robots. Now here we go. Here's another.
I do love.
I love artifice, Scott.
Oh, I love.
Hello, this is Dan. That'd be funny, a robot talk show. Huh? I love artifice is the name of our show.
Could you just do the Peter Finch line in that voice
Peter Finch.
from Network? Can you do that with that voice?
What does he say again?
Oh God!
I'm not going to take it
I'm not taking
anymore.
it
I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to open your window.
That's one of my favorite.
Open your
movies.
windows. I'm mad as hell.
Network.
Yeah, Network.
is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you like it?
I love it. It was filmed. I love it. It was filmed in Toronto. I remember as a kid.
It was filmed in
The fact that it was
Toronto?
filmed in
Wow.
Toronto was so glamorous. It was before they started making movies in Canada, so it was very glamorous.
Oh.
And when you saw that's Toronto, that's Toronto. It was the beginning
Shit,
of that.
that was all Toronto, dude.
Network was the beginning of that kind of American
Film.
making movies in Canada.
Yeah, because it was cheaper.
Yeah, but that was all filmed in Toronto.
We watch. Me and my wife. My wife loves comic book stuff, so we watch The Flash together, and that's filmed.
Vancouver. You watched The Flash.
Jesus, Eddie. He also loves Downton Abbey.
No, I love Downton Abbey. Do you love Downton
love
Abbey?
it.
He thinks that's hilarious,
Why?
and to me,
It's
Downton
fantastic.
Abbey is the best soap opera
Dude,
ever
my
made.
Jewish
best.
mother doesn't.
Your Jewish mother doesn't know what the fuck
Well,
she's
that's
She'd
true.
love it.
She loves West
She'd
Side
l-
Story. Maybe she would love it.
No, there's no comparison.
There is no comparison.
West Side Story.
Well, I know, but
The Granthams and
Wait, do you like The Crown?
I haven't seen it. Oh no, I
Love The Crown.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, that's really good.
It is. Huh?
Yeah, I like anything with the royal family.
Yeah, my wife does too.
Yeah.
You know, but I anyway, Flash is filmed in Vancouver.
Yeah, I know.
The CW. I always
Do you watch all of those shows? Do you watch Supergirl as well?
My wife does Supergirl.
Is Green Lantern?
Green Arrow.
Green Arrow?
And
He was hot. Though.
now
He was hot. He had a
There's a-
nice mustache.
they're finishing
what
it.
about Smallville? Were you? Because that can be homoerotic.
Smallville? I heard
No,
was.
I never
no-
thought Superman was way too clean cut for me.
Right.
The superheroes I loved as a boy, they were all shirtless anti-heroes. Silver Surfer.
Your Superman was the play Picnic by William Inge.
That's right. Yes, my Superman was the one that lived in that alternate world, like Mr. Remember?
Bizarro?
What?
Remember that
That's all right.
character that lived in an alternate world, and there was Bizarro Superman.
Yes, Bizarro.
And he was a little sprite.
There's the
And
Reverse
and
Flash,
his
by
name
the
was
way.
like-
Have you gotten into the
No.
Reverse
But
Flash?
all
Thawne?
those characters have a Bizarro version.
And
of them.
didn't
Yeah,
that
that's
character,
right.
Mr. Mitchipuk, he had no vowels in his name? Didn't he?
Wow,
appear in
I don't know that
in
one.
the Flintstones or something.
Dude, this
Someone
is,
might help
this
me.
is before my
I only
time.
liked Silver Surfer, and I liked
Silver Surfer,
He
yeah.
was good, and I liked
was
Aquaman,
good.
and I liked.
Did you see the movie Aquaman?
Terrible.
You didn't like it?
No, that was terrible.
Why? Why?
I thought the story was terrible. I thought he was awful as Aquaman. I
You
mean,
think so?
I mean, he's
he was
gorgeous.
so buff
but
and-
cut your hair. Like, I mean,
Yeah, it was-
there was no need for that.
Really? Now it's
He didn't
interesting.
do one thing to look like Aquaman. Not one thing.
What do you mean by that?
He would have cut his hair. It made no
Aquaman
sense.
was
Because
like a
first
clean
you
cut
said
blonde.
Superman was too clean cut for you, and now you want Aquaman.
Yeah, you are
Well, I-
contradicting
hair.
yourself, Scott.
No, because I thought that Jason Momoa just didn't do enough to be the character. I thought he should have tried a little harder.
Who is the real Aquaman? On Artifice.
I also like Namor. Do you remember Namor? Prince Namor?
I don't know. Wait,
Prince of Atlantis? He was really, he was troubling.
was there a show made about it?
No,
Was
no,
there-
it was a comic book.
No, I don't.
None of my favorite heroes ever got shows or movies. Or bad ones. Like Silver Surfer got a bad movie.
They got really
Oh,
bad.
really bad
Yeah.
movie.
I like Green Lantern a lot, but he got a bad movie too.
Super
That was
bad.
Seth Rogen,
Pretty
right?
No, that was Ryan Reynolds.
Another Canadian, but
Yeah.
not that Canadian.
Is Seth Rogen Canadian?
Yeah, they
Yes.
both
I
are.
forgot about that.
Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of you
All
guys.
the Ryans are. Ryan Gosling and Ryan Reynolds.
Is
and
that
Seth
right?
Rogen, who's kind of a Ryan.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's a Jewish Ryan.
Spiritually, he's a Jewish Ryan.
Let's
yeah.
listen to this one. I don't think we've played this one.
Eddie,
Eddie.
your old buddy Chris in here. Hey, man, I don't want to see you on any more scooters without safety equipment, all right? Very
I
concerning.
fell off a
Did you watch that?
scooter.
Also, a propeller beanie, I think,
We should have Scott
would make
on.
the show. Can you do me a favor? I don't know if you remember this. Remember my Gilligan's Island survivalist script?
Yes.
Can you talk to Sam Tripoli? Because, honestly, he looks brain damaged, and I think I'd like him for my Gilligan character. I know that he's the kind of guy who wears, like, tough guy motorcycle jackets and then gets into a pearl white mini SUV mom car, but still, I think he's good for the show. Be well. Stop falling off the scooters, Eddie.
Fans.
You're kind of, I mean, I don't want to say necessary, but, you know, you're Eddie, all right?
I
Take
like
care,
this
buddy.
guy.
Oh, it's very nice. By the way, we have a caller who does, I'll play one for you, Hunter S. Thompson. It's hilarious.
Oh, did they call in?
But didn't that guy sound, that Chris?
It sounded a little bit like the Hunter voice.
Totally,
Yeah,
totally.
good call, Eddie. We did a show
I think
called Comedians Without Cars Getting Soda. We filmed an episode of it, and Eddie...
Comedians
not to
Without
give you a
Cars Getting Soda,
spoiler,
because I hate that Seinfeld thing.
First of all, we rode fucking Lime scooters, and they left me. My scooter died, and he just kept going. Which
Well,
I
what are
think
we gonna
was.
do?
I think it was
Sit
set
around?
up. It was set up, but then he tried to take a lip. He tried to take a lip off the
of a
scooter
curb.
like
I
he
have
was
been riding it
like
all
a
day.
13-year-old in Brooklyn.
And I had a GoPro camera on the helmet, and I fucking went down. 3 weeks with a bad rib cage muscle.
You had a good rib cage before?
He went to the doctor, and the doctor told him, "You're gonna be okay. It's just a muscle strain.
Yeah.
You just got to let it heal."
But you didn't break your ribs.
No, thank God.
That's a sexy
Injury?
accident.
Paul Newman
I think
in
that's the
Hustler
sexiest
kind of thing.
injury, broken
Right.
ribs.
Really?
Yeah, that's what happens to Paul Newman in movies like
Harrison
Hud.
Ford
Right.
in Raiders
Are you
of
a
the Lost
hockey
Ark.
fan? Because
Yeah.
I remember a sketch with Kids in the Hall, and I don't know if it was Buddy Cole, your character, but you were talking about you guys had a runner about the Leafs.
That was actually
And you
me
did
and
you
Mark.
see
No,
Wendell Clark?
No. I'm the butch straight guy.
Oh,
Mark
okay.
plays the queen, and it's a guy picking you up. He basically picks up boys who've come from Northern Ontario, and he picks them up at the bus station and takes them to a Leafs game. It's a very Canadian story of
Seduction.
sexual abuse and seduction of young males from the country. I played that boy, Bradley, right? And he takes me and he seduces me, and I have to give him a blow. He blows me for beer.
Eddie, were you ever seduced
and
to
we-
a game like that?
No,
As
I'm a
young
big
man?
hockey.
But did you ever
fan.
have a man try to seduce you through that sort of thing?
Not through that.
Not through hockey.
But
And,
what? Something else?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Of course.
I was a piece of ass when I was younger.
You were gorgeous.
I don't want to brag.
Look at the eyes. I mean, come on.
I'll show you a picture of me when I was younger. I have it on.
I've never seen this. I don't think.
Have you? Did you see this on
No,
Instagram? I put it up because my friend sent me a picture.
From when you were a child, or
No, when I was in my teenage.
No, dude, I've never
Not
seen
teenage. I was like in my, I think it's 20s or early 30s. I'm on the right.
Wow, you're so
holy
handsome.
Look at
cow,
that.
Pepitone.
Who's the guy on the left?
What?
Who's the guy on the left?
That's my friend Barry.
That's
He's
you,
amazing.
Eddie.
He's an amazing.
You look like a
he's
fucking-
he's a real motorcycle.
He looks like an MTV. He like the guy who brings the videos on. Wow, Eddie.
Eddie. Jesus.
Yeah,
Christ.
that was me.
How-
you know,
how
I
old
was
were
a
you?
bike mess. Do you remember bike messengers? When just riding bikes in like Quicksilver, the Kevin Bacon movie.
Footloose.
Footloose. No. Anyway, I was a bike messenger, and I remember
you
women
had, like, great
women
legs.
hitting on me when I was. I had great legs. Thank you. I had great legs. I still
And
have,
you have
legs are still my
and,
best.
And your ass. I bet you still have a good ass.
You know, my ass now isn't that great,
Right.
but back then
You were an athletic guy. I mean, you were.
I
like,
was an
Did you have an
athletic.
injury or something?
The way you said that was like, what happened?
the reason.
What
for
happened to
this?
you?
That was a very, very gay man. What happened? Where did you decide not to be gorgeous? Like, when do straight men make that decision?
They
no
don't make
gay
that-
man ever makes
don't
that,
make that
decision.
decision.
I didn't make that decision. I feel right now it's weird. Like I feel like holy shit, I've let my weight get out of control, and that's a weird thing because I feel like my life's out of control. And I had a trainer for 3 years. He committed suicide, but I had a trainer.
And you're proud of that. That I drove him to suicide.
It means
And
I
his
win.
shrink and his.
My shrink committed suicide right in front of me. I was just telling him about my day. I was just telling him about my day, and he couldn't take it. That's actually a bit I do where I go, my shrink committed suicide, which means I win. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You want to heal this? Let's listen to, I wanted you to listen to Hunter, who's a great
Sure.
caller. He calls in a lot.
Eddie, it's Hunter. So you say you've received no messages, Eddie. Eddie, I'm on the other side. I'm non-corporeal, for God's sake. Imagine how hard it is for me to make these calls, Eddie. Only to have them left on the cutting room floor, Eddie. My call about wisdom gleaned from watching Star Trek was ignored, Eddie. Ignored. It's degrading. Anyway, Eddie, I have an assignment for you. It's time to chain yourself to the White House gates, soak yourself with a good Russian vodka, and threaten self-immolation until the ongoing psychotic episode that is this Trump administration is brought to an end. To an end, Eddie. Stop wasting your time with this meaningless podcast. No more fart jokes, Eddie. Do your duty. Hunter out.
Hunter out. He leaves messages as Hunter Thompson from the other side. Oh. You know,
We don't know who this actually is. It could be.
I think it's that guy Chris who called in, which is nice.
Do you think you might know this person?
I might.
Could be a friend
He
of yours?
claimed he knew him, Springer,
well-
and Springer said no. Now this just came in. This came in earlier today. Let's see how. And this may be really fucked up, but here we go. We haven't vetted this one.
He's reading it.
Yo, Eddie, Steve, I have faith in you guys. So I also understand if you don't play this message because I kind of call out well-wishers and friends of yours. But, Jen Kirkman and Andy Kindler, they got their podcasts, and I find it hilarious as much as they rail against Trump. They want anybody but Bernie Sanders to be president. I don't fucking get it. I guess, frankly, people just aren't uncomfortable enough to really want legitimate change, I guess is what it comes down to. They will come up with hundreds of excuses why Bernie Sanders is not the right candidate when in fact he has basically an unblemished record and, not being a hypocrite and actually trying to improve this country. But God forbid anybody but Bernie Sanders, let's get, another, dishwater candidate like Elizabeth Warren in there, just another Obama to basically look cool and do nothing. So I wonder how you feel about that. I mean, everybody's allowed to their opinion, have different political beliefs, but I mean, really, people don't have a right to complain if they do not want some sort of change in this country. So really what people are saying is, I'm okay with how things look. I just don't want a laughingstock as a president, which is understandable. But I mean, what also means that you're okay with, climate breakdown and basically living in a totalitarian government. So I wonder how you guys feel about it.
You're right. It is getting funnier.
All right. Bye.
Thank you.
Dude.
I like that call.
I do too, but it just gets me angry. I just hearing it. I don't even want to.
We're Bernie guys.
Are you?
Yeah.
You're not.
I don't wait.
It doesn't matter.
He doesn't. He's not political like that. He doesn't.
I bet you have a face.
I think
is it Budik? Do you like Budik?
No, I like the guy. I don't think he has a chance. I'm too scarred from my life. I can't.
You don't have to,
remotely
Scott.
Think that a gay man could win.
We like you, Scott. We don't care.
I'm so gravely wounded. No, I like Bernie Sanders.
We love him.
I don't think he has a chance, but I don't really like any of them.
Well,
Really?
maybe Trump will be president again. I mean,
I think he's he quite possibly will win again. Yeah.
I don't think we could survive that.
Yes,
but it is interesting that these.
You've had worse. Bush was worse.
No.
Oh, in my mind, he was
Bush was
worse.
pretty bad.
Really? Huh?
Yeah.
But Bush and Obama,
Reagan was worse.
Reagan
Reagan
and
was
Clinton,
bad.
they were
In my
all.
mind,
They were
look, I think about George Bush Jr. and I go, wait a second. He brought you into these horrible wars that we did. Hundreds of thousands of people are dead because of him. Trump is not responsible for hundreds of thousands of deaths. I'll take his vulgarity and his tweeting over mass murder. And so I look at George Bush and his crew and I go, they are the worst. They lied to the UN.
How do you feel about Ellen hanging out with George Bush?
I think that was kind of appalling.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought.
I love the explanation, though.
Yeah.
We should all be kind. Yeah.
Especially from. I
know.
I get it. I think that what that shows you is that money is the great leveler. And that when you get into that kind of level of fame and money,
That's true.
they're all the same, and they all just want to maintain the status quo.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
know, and I look at Trump and I go, it's for me as a gay man in this world in 2019, I'm living in paradise. So
You're living at the zenith of your right.
So I look at when I came out, Ronald Reagan was he didn't speak about AIDS before 50,000 dead men. How many men? How many gay men touched that fucking man's face? How many faggots fixed his face?
Oh,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
So for me,
yeah,
I go, I'm sorry, I'll take Trump over Reagan or Bush any day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
no, I hear you.
I just think of the real damage. Sure, you say Trump is doing damage to your reputation and all the rest of it, and he's a vulgarian, you can't stand him.
Right.
But in terms of what he's actually done, he has not dragged this country into one war.
Yeah. Not
Well,
yet.
And that's amazing.
What were you going to say, Steve?
He gave his friends this $1 trillion tax break that he's now got to borrow from the Treasury to pay.
and the others weren't doing that kind of shit.
Well,
too.
it's kind of like Ronald Reagan on steroids.
He's a little bit
But
steroidal with
the
that.
one thing about him, I go, well, I mean, I really like the fact that he's trying to stop this from being a warmongering country.
Yeah, I mean
And you can't give. You gotta give him something.
I don't know about that. I don't know enough to because I don't know. I'm not actually.
George Bush
knowledgeable
invaded
enough.
Iraq.
Well, they all-
after lying to the
Well, his father was the
UN,
CIA.
Okay, they invaded Afghanistan just for revenge. The Middle East is still smoldering because of what he did. He's a war criminal. That whole crew should be in jail.
Oh yeah, there's no
So I
doubt
look at it
about
and I
that.
go, I'm sorry, I think they're worse.
It is a symptom. Trump is a symptom
It's a
of
symptom.
what all these people have done. And Obama, by the way, extended all of Bush's platforms.
And I think with
pretty much.
Obama, I think the left couldn't find fault with him because he was a mixed race man. So they couldn't. And
Well, they
so
buried all the
They
shit that he
buried
did.
everything because they wanted to love him so badly.
Right.
So it built
He
up and built
continued all
up
the
and built
wars.
up.
Yeah.
He was killing so many
Yes.
people with the drones.
Right.
He didn't stop any of those
Oh,
wars.
not only that, he
so there. I
bailed
mean,
out Monsanto.
Yeah.
He peddled the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which was going to give unlimited power to corporations, and Republicans weren't.
you okay?
He wasn't doing it with Republicans. He was doing it on his own. This is what's so. Why I say Trump. At least when Trump does something bad, I can go. At least I can point to Trump and go, it was him.
Yeah.
I don't know the shadow behind Obama that was pulling these strings or behind.
Well, it's
Bush.
a military-industrial
well,
complex.
as a Canadian, I've always seen this country as this
bully.
Yes, a
Of
bully.
course.
A bully that I kind of am sexually attracted to. That's the way it is. A bully who will.
Who's your favorite straight guy that you fantasize? You have a favorite straight?
So many. I mean, if
It'd be funny if you named.
they're
like,
almost all straight that I fantasize about because there's very few gay male.
It would be
stars.
funny if you said-
I'd say Idris Elba, number one for
Wow.
me.
Is that
now.
right?
Yeah,
Living.
Living. He'd be
Idris
my
Elba.
number one
Yeah.
male that I fantasize about, movie star.
Right.
Follow-
Well, he played Idi Amin, and that goes into the feeding thing.
The military industrial. It would be so funny if you said.
Or did Forrest Whitaker play Idi
Forrest
Amin?
No, Forrest Whitaker.
Sorry
That's
about
okay.
that.
He gets his
The
blacks
last
mixed
king
up.
of Scotland, yes. No. And he is not attractive compared to Idris Elba.
I don't know. Color of money.
Forrest is a little doughy,
Very doughy.
right?
Yeah.
Elvis, he's cut. He's
Yeah.
ripped.
Oh, and
What was his-
Harry and everything I love and,
and-
masculine. And,
Yeah,
What
the
was
cop-
his
the cop
cop show? That
Luther.
Luther.
Yeah.
Great show.
No, he drives me insane.
It would be so funny if you said
Insane.
a young Eddie Pepitone.
Well,
That
it
would
would
be a
be.
great-
There's definitely, I got a lot of crushes on male comedians. My problem with male comedians, I've never come up. There were so few gay ones, and and now they're all the new crop. They're all too young, and they're not
Right.
going to throw me a bone, even though they really should because they owe me. But
That's right.
but no, I've never. Here's the thing: like if I was a woman, like if I was a funny woman. I would have cut a swath through this generation of comics.
They are.
I would have cut a wider swath than Sarah Silverman. I would have
They
cut
are.
a swath. They are.
Dude, they are.
And I never got to have sex with one male comic ever. And it's I'm going to eventually.
Oh, absolutely.
Geez, Scott, I feel bad for you.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not going to
sad?
do it, but
and think about you guys. You've all slept, I'm sure, with female comedians.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to brag.
And
He slept with some famous female comedians whose names we won't mention.
We're gonna find out afterwards. I have never. No, I've never
Yeah?
slept with a funny man.
You never slept with a funny man?
No, I mean,
My wife swears.
funny. I've never slept with anyone funnier than me.
Well, you're a funny fucking guy.
Yeah, that's a high bar, brother.
Scotty, we've reached the end. It's an hour and a half, right?
An hour and a half.
This is the
This was a
longest
great
podcast
one.
we've ever done.
This is a great one.
But isn't it sad that three men can
fun.
spare an hour and a half the day before Thanksgiving?
Yeah, three lonely men.
Like, we're not out
Why?
shopping or getting last minute gifts or
no.
no one's asking us to crumb the bread or anything.
You know, I went to and this isn't to hurt you because I have this kind of lifestyle, but I went to the Americana Mall like a couple of days ago in Glendale. Have you ever been to that? I mean, you want to talk about the headquarters
I do.
of disgusting consumption.
Right.
It's that fucking, like, it's
I
the
get
Grove.
I get panic attacks in malls.
I have gotten panic attacks.
shakes
I
in
like-
the parking garage
I
of a
like
mall.
malls.
You do?
You what?
I like malls.
You do.
But we're straight guys. It's a gay.
No, but
it's
why?
gotta be a gay.
But what do you? You know what? I
like underground malls more than anything.
What are those?
Underground.
Like, well, it's a Canadian thing.
Oh.
Because it's such a cold country. Many of the big cities have a whole underground.
Oh, I
you
hear
might
you.
not have. You might not know it when you probably don't know the underground of Toronto.
No.
But there's a whole underground city there.
I don't know
that you can go from you can go, from not from one side of the city to the other. You can go a long way underground.
That's like some
in
Lord
a
of the Rings
t-shirt
shit.
in the middle of winter.
Wow.
I like that.
in the T-shirt in the middle of the winter in underground.
You just have to
malls.
know where to go. You have to know how they connect.
Yeah, I didn't. Nobody showed
Like they
me.
all have them, like Winnipeg and Edmonton.
I've
Toronto.
been to Winnipeg a couple of times. That's where I met Kevin McDonald.
I was going to say. I knew it.
He's always very sadly saying,
I live in
to
Winnipeg.
me, yes,
I know.
fell in love with the dancer. I
He
think in
fell in love with the
Winnipeg.
dancer. Here's the saddest. Kevin fell in love
Kevin McDonald,
with a white
sweetheart,
woman
funny,
who
yeah.
does African dancing in Winnipeg.
In Winnipeg.
I just think that's something. That's like the premise
That
of
is.
the
That's
show.
material.
I mean,
That's material.
Yeah.
Also, a funny man has never slept with me would be a funny something.
Well, funny men that have never, and there's been a number of them that I think they probably know who they are. And I'm just saying, tick, guys. Like, it's 2019, and you know what? You want some street cred? You want some progressive cred? Sleep with me.
All right,
it
so
will
this
come
is
right off of you.
yeah.
A lot
There's
of
bunch
comedians. You know, we want to have you two on comedians.
I'm talking to Joe Rogan. I'm talking Joe. You've got a lot to make up for. He's got a lot to make up for.
We want to have you as a guest on our show.
Comedians without cars getting soda,
I'd
and
love
we
to
have
do that.
very what?
I would love to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
And we
We're
do
gonna
it
have
here
you
in
on.
Burbank?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
We don't go over the hill. Fuck that.
Why would you?
I have
Why
to do it tonight. I
would
perform
you?
at the Comedy Store.
Tonight?
Yeah, 2 shows. You should go.
No.
I feel bad about it, actually.
Like you're headlining? Like
I'm not headlining.
There's no headliner.
I'm one
Yeah.
of the comics
Just like
on
10
2
minutes or
shows.
5 minutes?
15 minutes.
Everybody
spot.
does 15 or 18 there, right?
I'm at the Comedy Store. The main room I'm doing at 9:15 tonight. If you're watching this live, and then the OR with the original room at 10:15. But yeah, I used to. You know what I used to do in holiday weeks is just party. Yeah. Like just go underground and say fuck it to everything.
And you don't do that anymore?
I don't.
So you don't drink anymore or anything
I don't.
like that? You don't drink?
I'm
or eat
vegan.
meat?
Yeah, he doesn't get high.
You don't get high? You don't do booze?
No, me neither.
You neither either?
No, I just like pussy.
Fuck,
Man, I
pussy.
can't get that all the time.
How do you have a girlfriend?
I have a couple of girls.
You've got a couple fuck buddies.
Yeah, but I went about 1.25 years without getting laid because of an accident.
What?
Which is,
How's that? How did you do that?
it's a long story. I'll tell you after.
That's a long period of time not having
I
sex.
know, and every week Eddie would bring it up on the air.
Oh,
Well,
my
to
longest
me-
is a year.
to
But at
me-
least I had cancer as an excuse. Jesus Christ. Fuck. I hope it was a terrible injury. I hope you broke your back or something.
It was bad, dude.
Oh, I'm
My
sorry.
urologist always tells me things like, look, if we remove this thing from the head of your penis, you won't be able to have sex for at least a month. And I'm like, oh, okay, well,
You're
thanks.
talking about your foreskin, right? It's a little late to get that. You're Jewish and Italian?
He's Jewish.
So do you have your foreskin?
No, I don't.
Oh, I'm sad. I don't want to fuck you anymore. At the end of that. Well, that's the end of that.
I don't have mine either.
Off my list. You're both off
All right, thank
off
God.
my list, boys.
We got that.
Well, that's, I guess, the Jewish people
Yeah,
who get
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Oh, right, circumcision. I had it done in the back of a car, like the Lincoln Continental commercial.
The SAG
I had it
actually
done in the
did it
back of
for
the
him
car.
when he got his
I
SAG
was that
card.
baby in the back of that Lincoln Continental. Imagine that. Do you remember that commercial?
Yeah, I do.
That's when commercials.
Oh, that's a commercial?
Yeah.
They had a rabbi. It was the funniest fucking. They would never do a commercial like that.
The funniest commercial about child abuse I've ever seen.
Yeah, they had a rabbi in the back doing a circumcision in the back of a Lincoln Continental, and a very like announcery voice going, "This rabbi's about to perform a circumcision in the back of this Lincoln Continental to show you how great the suspension is in the Lincoln." They would never do a commercial like that.
Commercial. Nobody would ever even pitch that as anything.
Can you imagine now?
Maybe a
pitching it,
comedy
and now,
sketch.
Oh, but it's not going
That
to be a
could have
boy.
been
It's going to
Kids
be a
in the
girl.
Hall.
Female circumcision in the back of the car. Yeah. In Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be good.
In Cameroon.
Yeah.
Scott, do you want to plug anything? Do you have anything coming up, or we never even
podcast.
got into what's your podcast?
PTS Diva.
PTS Diva.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And
It's a great title.
I've got a one-man show that I tour called Après le Déluge, and I'm going to be doing it here again every week in January and February at the Lyric Hyperion.
Oh, great!
Yeah.
I've done
Yeah, he did his one-man show there.
I love that place.
When are you doing it at Lincoln? Lyric next year?
Every Mondays in January and February.
There's a great plug.
definitely go.
So for your, what's it called again? Your one-man
Après
show?
le Déluge.
Say it again.
Après le Déluge, which means after the flood.
After the Flood. There's a novel that I'm reading now called After the Flood.
Oh, I know that book. I just read it. It's about the woman in the future in a world like Waterworld.
Yes.
It's excellent.
Yeah.
I just
I'm
finished
reading it,
She's
yeah.
hard to like, the character, isn't she? She's a fucking hard ass. But I really enjoyed that book.
She's looking for her daughter.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you know After
With
the
her
Flood?
little girl. I can't believe you read that book. I just finished. I just.
Why
finished
can't
it.
you believe?
Because I read it at
What? Because I work with my hands?
Exactly.
At the docks, and I'm a little doughy, and I had my penis circumcised. Huh?
All those things. But most
In the back of a Lincoln Continental.
Because I just saw it. I just finished it a week ago. That's why it felt weird for me. And I love post-apocalyptic dystopian.
This is wild. So Apocalypto and that you're getting a lot of.
anything
Briefly,
about apocalypse.
what is the show about? Your one-man show?
It's 12 monologues with Buddy Cole, and they're all the monologues from the end of The Kids in the Hall until now. So nothing's ever been on television. They're basically Buddy Cole taking you through the last 25 years.
Oh, fuck. That's a great thing to see at the Lincoln Hyperion every Monday
Yeah.
in January and February.
We gotta go. We gotta go to.
Well, we will. We will.
Yeah.
Stevie?
I'll be at.
anything to plug?
Following that, I'll be at Flappers Comedy Club in Burbank on the 3rd, and then
Flappers.
That's it. I don't think I have.
What's Flappers like? I passed
It's
through
pretty
it.
good.
I liked it. That's a club I've never performed at.
great.
You know, it's
gonna do that.
surprisingly like every time that I perform there, I'm like, oh God, what's this crowd going to be like?
Yeah, 'cause it's
you know?
Burbank
But
and-
they're
Yeah.
not bad at all. They're
smart.
it's a good
They're
place
smart.
to work out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to try doing
It's
that.
great.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should.
I'm going
Oh
to.
yeah,
I
they'll
can
roll the
intro
red
you to
carpet
the
out. Yeah, they'll
2020
roll.
Flappers in 2020.
They'll roll out the red carpet for you there.
And it's in our neighborhood.
Yeah, I know.
Which is
I can picture the sign right now. I'm picturing it in my head.
Yeah, it's much
Oh,
better
there it is. I'm coming
than
down
a,
Magnolia. I'm looking at it.
right, going toward the mall.
I'm passing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm turning left here at the mall.
That's
There we
right.
go, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that little hill you got to go over.
Yeah, me and my wife go to Barnes & Noble a lot and sit in the cafe.
I like that too.
You know, I like being around books.
I am obsessed with books. I'm obsessed with the bookstore on Magnolia at
The Odyssey.
Cahuenga. Isn't it the Iliad?
The Iliad. Did I say the Odyssey?
You said the Odyssey.
I always get my Greek
Me too.
mythology.
That is my favorite place in the valley. I go
It's
there about
amazing.
3 times
Have you been
a
in-
week.
yeah, with the
The,
cats, all the cats running around.
It's called the Iliad.
The cats are called Ulysses and
No.
Homer.
That's so
Something.
funny.
I get it mixed up too.
By the way,
Yeah.
bookstores are having a resurgence. I saw in the news.
They are.
Yeah,
the
Eddie,
Kindle did
it
not
might-
kill the book.
This could be actually the reason that, you know, when he's saying he thinks we're going to make it, Eddie, this could be a reason for you to stick around.
The resurgence of bookstores to me has been one of the greatest things that's happened.
Well, I didn't know they were
They are.
researching.
They are.
What is
Well,
this?
the small bookstore is starting to. They're not thriving, but
they're
they went
popping
as
up.
low as they could go, and suddenly this the young generation.
Well, Amazon
they want
killed
physical
bookstores.
things.
Amazon
they want
killed
records. They
bookstores.
want
Yeah,
books.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
sick of the digital world.
Are they?
I think
But they're on their
so.
fucking. Everybody's on their goddamn devices
but it's
all the
gonna
time.
collapse.
But
it's coming to a collapse.
So you think the collapse?
I
will
agree
include
with him.
The digital
I
collapse?
think that people, if they're moved by something, they want to own it. They want to
I'm like
hold
that
it. They
with
want to
books.
have it.
I agree.
Like I
And-
read After the Flood on my Kindle, and
I
then
did
went,
too.
and then I got a physical piece. Then I needed to have that physical book.
Oh, you did.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do
because I
that
collect
with
books.
Totally.
And my favorite thing about the Elite is when the people dump the books outside, and you go
Oh,
through
yeah.
them, and you can find real treasures
For nothing.
for free. I mean, like I got
Oh, they're free. I forgot.
Yeah, and the-
free books.
free, and if you get there before they go through them. Yeah, I go sometimes. That's how much of a nerd. I go there early in the morning.
Oh yeah,
to go through them with
you're
all
like,
the
yeah,
homeless
you,
people.
Yeah, you're like the people who go looking for the
And there are homeless people. They're just looking for a cheap,
Thompson again.
paperback.
It's Thompson.
Yeah. And sometimes I'll see a homeless person. They're holding like a very valuable book, and they don't know how valuable it is. And I'll just go, here, take this. You don't need this piece of shit. And then I pretend I'm going to throw it away, and then I go and I price it and I sell it for tons of money.
That's bullshit. That's
I know, but it's a funny
But I do.
story.
I love that place. So the smell of it. As soon as I walk in,
It's
I'm happy.
a great bookstore,
It's
and it's got that middle. In the middle, you could sit on couches.
Yes, at the
I like
back there,
that.
and then the cats will come and sit on you.
Yeah.
And the ladders you go up and that space when you go in where all the new books are before they put them onto the regular shelves.
Yeah. Have you ever been to the
Joy to
famous
be there.
bookstore downtown?
I
What's
love
it?
that one too. I think it was called
Where they have a
famous bookstore. Is it not called the famous-
something like that.
That's
The
called-
world's last bookstore, or something like that.
I love bookstores, and
What is it about book? Do you find them sexy?
yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, books are they saved me as a child. My number one. I mean, it wasn't TV or movies or music. It was books.
One of
What
my
was-
first girlfriends said to me, which kind of blew me away when I was younger. She said, "Museums turn me on. I like to masturbate in bathrooms in a museum." Oh. And I was like, "Wow."
And
Really?
You
Like,
should've
is it the
married her, buddy.
sarcophaguses? Is it like what was
Which
it?
kind of
Was it the
museum?
Botticelli? Was it the sculptures, Giacometti?
Natural history.
What?
yeah, that I can see natural history. Yeah. The,
Why?
The
You-
dinosaur,
skeletons?
Dinosaurs.
The skeletal thing you think is a turn on?
Stegosaurus. Come on.
Pterodactyl.
Pterodactyl. Plesiosaur, Eddie. A plesiosaur.
A plesiosaur.
Please.
Oh, that's a comedy
How
sketch.
smooth
right there,
they
yeah.
are. That rubbery skin.
They wanna please you.
Oh, always wet. Like it's like a brontosaurus, but wet.
And smaller.
Really? I think
Yeah.
she was talking about, like, I believe it was museum, like modern art.
Modern art.
There's something about the very, I think this is the thing, and you were kind of talking about there's so much sex in the Middle East, but there's a very buttoned down feel to a museum that I think people, like, there's a lot of sexual tension
Yeah.
in a museum because people are very much like just walking around.
And there's so much nudity, and we're all pretending that it's highbrow. Right? Go, oh,
That's right.
Like we're not looking at a nude person. Like, oh, it's a painting, but you're going, they're naked, and they're erotic. So we can't. And I find that fascinating. That kind of like you're pretending that you're up here, but you can't help but be down there as well.
I'm always in museums just looking at the women in the museum.
Of course.
I'm not really paying
See what
that
I
much
mean?
attention
And that's
to-
because there's such a sexual tension.
You mean the women, not the paintings?
No, the women in the museum who are looking at the paintings.
That's what I mean.
Because I'm fantasizing about. There's something everything's so immaculate, and
Well,
you
they-
want to
well,
sort of
that's
do
what I'm-
something right.
You wanna dirty it
That's
up.
right. See where they're.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
There's
that's
such an
natural.
undercurrent of anarchy in a museum. I love saying shit like that. It's just.
It sounds like you're reviewing wine. I love,
He's a curator.
I love the undercurrent of anarchy in the new Merlot. Such an undercurrent of
I
anarchy.
do a bit like that, but I've never used that phrase. That's so funny. You mind if I use that?
No, it's a
There's
good-
an
you said it.
undercurrent
of anarchy.
of anarchy in this Gewürztraminer. Not only is the
That
hazel,
you got to put that in with. 'cause
Yeah.
You have the bit where you talk about.
not only is the hazelnut buttery and smoky,
But it's also crispy.
but it's
And-
a bit anarchic.
It is a bit anarchic, yeah.
Bob, like someone takes a sip of wine at a dinner party, and they're, Bob, correct me if I'm wrong, but this Pinot's a bit of an anarchist. Do you taste the notes of Sacco and Vanzetti?
It is. It's quite a rebel. It's quite a rebel. It doesn't want to be swallowed. It's at the. It's at the
doesn't
it won't.
want to be swallowed.
Eddie, I can't swallow it. It refuses.
Do you taste the hints of bakunin?
Oh, there it went. It went.
There it went.
There it went. But you know what? It's tickling all the way down. It's tickling all the way down.
I want to promo, so that's you guys. I want to promo. Go to EddiePepitone.com. I'm going to the South, and I'm going to be in New Orleans. I'm going to be in Baton Rouge. I'm going to be in Fort Worth. I'm going to be in Fayetteville, Arkansas, among others. Oklahoma City, Tulsa, with JT Habersat, called the For the Masses Tour. I'm going to be there starting to December 5th. Go to EddiePepitone.com. I'm touring all over. If you're in LA, you could see me at the Improv and the Comedy Store.
tonight.
Tonight.
Tonight I have two shows the day before Thanksgiving.
Oh, boy.
You know what really made me regret that is it started raining today, and I don't know about you. You've lived here a while
Yeah.
now, but when it rains in LA, I don't want to do a fucking thing because it never rains here.
I love it, though.
Me too.
Oh, I love it.
You must, don't you miss?
I miss weather.
So do I.
God, I mean, I miss cold weather.
Me too. I just went back east.
Change
and it
of
was great.
seasons.
When there's a blizzard back home, I am so jealous.
Yeah?
I love a blizzard.
Everybody talks about how great the weather is here. I disagree.
This is not why I'm here. I'm not here for the weather.
I know so many people are.
I know. I would never live anywhere just because of the weather. I'm only here for one reason: show business. That's it.
Me too.
Americans-
and also the avocados and valet parking.
Yeah, those three things. And the car shows.
Football
on Friday.
starts at 9 and 10 in the morning. Oh, that you don't care about that. We do.
You named a sport I could care less about.
Yeah. Well,
football.
Hockey you love though.
I don't
hockey
love
is
it,
my
but
favorite
I know it.
sport.
I know it. I
All right,
play
so
it.
you don't love it.
No.
Oh, you played it?
I play it. You have to.
In Canada.
When I grew up, I mean, five brothers. You had to. If I didn't want to, it would have been instantly outed. I had to.
Were you any good?
No, it was terrible. But I kept playing. I had brothers that were really.
Well, you couldn't have
good.
been terrible if you kept playing. They would have let you play anymore.
No, I just kept playing because my dad kept signing us up.
Thompson up the left wing, Bob.
Left
Wait
wing.
a minute. He's stopping to watch Butterfly 8.
Butterfly 8.
I don't know why that popped into my head.
Goldie Hawn's in the rink and he refuses
the
to
door.
play. Yeah. No, it's true. Like I do a
Butterflies
joke
are
about it.
free.
My brother would be like
are free.
that. I couldn't skate. I couldn't shoot. I couldn't stick handle. But I was a bitch in the corners. Like I was kind of a fighter. Like because I had no skill, but I had an enormous temper.
A goon.
I was a goon.
Thompson's on the ice, Bill, and that could be trouble in the corners for a lot of the straight men. A lot of the straight men are afraid to go in the corners with Thompson. He's fucked more straight men in the corners than you could shake a stick at. Tim,
Remember, Bobby Hall went into the corner and he came out gay. We've never recovered from that. That's when Don Cherry started to sound.
Jim, I'll never forget Jeremy Roenick coming out of that corner, just loving Streisand, early Streisand.
Oh, you do that really well.
Singing in
you
the
do
rain.
like hockey. That's the
I
right
love
tone. That's
hockey.
the right tone and everything. Like that.
Oh, hockey drives me nuts.
Hockey's a very violent sport.
Maybe that's-
I like it.
It mixes pleasure and violence, which is my
Yeah, it's-
favorite.
Well, it's
Well,
fascinating.
it's delicate and violent because it's
Yeah.
figure skating. I mean, it's
And there's a delicacy to it. It's like lace. I love
Where's the
it's like
delicacy?
lace and blood.
well, the delicacy. See, this is why
I don't even understand what
You're skating. You're skating.
Have you
on
ever
ice.
watched Wayne Gretzky stick handle, like the beautiful passes?
You're asking a gay guy if he's ever watched Wayne Gretzky's stick handle.
Of course I have. Yeah. I have.
That's the delicacy.
I see what you're. Yeah. I
the
get-
skill part.
Yeah. Well, then, do you feel the same way about soccer?
No.
I have grown to like soccer.
Oh, I
now.
love soccer.
Like I'll watch the Premier League, the English
Right.
Premier League, a little bit, and I like it. The thing is I'm such a sports, like I love football, hockey, American football, hockey, and
Baseball.
Baseball.
Okay.
I don't have time. You know,
You don't like
I'm already an idiot
rugby?
for watching that.
Rugby?
I've watched rugby, and I like the way they tumble around.
Cricket? Do you like cricket?
Dude, cricket is so foreign.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
It has been explained to me.
Yeah, and you've never understood it.
And I'm like, what are you talking
It's taking
about?
off in Canada. It's becoming a big deal.
Is it? Mm-hmm. It seems crazy.
Well, I think the reason it's taking off in Canada because it's a huge South Asian population.
Oh,
And so,
okay.
Right.
cricket-
Indian.
Yeah, Indians.
I love that people love it because I love sport. So and like we were talking about Downton Abbey and stuff. They always have a cricket.
They do.
They did a cricket
and they
thing.
do polo, which is a really rough fucking game. Polo.
Is that on the horses?
On the horses? Like that
Ooh,
seems so
that's-
dangerous.
I don't like. Yeah, really.
So dangerous.
you know.
And you don't like basketball. You don't follow basketball.
Well, the
I
Knicks
used
are
to.
so bad. It's the Knicks.
The New York. I'm from New York, so the
so
New
you-
York Knicks have been so bad.
so
for
they have to
long.
be a team from New York that's good.
That at least is competitive.
Well, the Knicks are. That's an understatement. The Knicks have been. The Knicks are. They sign the biggest guy and they give him the most money and then they fail. It's like the expectation and it's just, you can't. Emotionally, Eddie would not be able to.
Oh, this is great. Our producer says, I don't know if the show is still going on. But it's been a hell of a show, kid. We're almost at 2 hours. We haven't gone over an hour.
Yeah, we need to go home.
It's the day before Thanksgiving, and let's.
Yeah. I live really
we have
close,
no one
though.
to go to.
That's what's so sad.
We don't want guys.
I don't even have a cat, but you know what I do have?
You don't?
I have a black cashmere sweater that's dumped in the corner that looks like a cat. So
You got to go home to your sweater.
I go, hey!
You feed your black cat.
After my black cat died a few years ago, I love this cat so much. It's one of the great love stories of our time. But when Uday died, that was his name.
Uday.
Yeah.
Huh. Like the Uday noodle?
Uday Hussein. I named her after Uday Hussein. Long story, gentlemen.
the Uday noodle.
Yeah. Uday noodle. Udon noodle, you mean?
Well, who cares?
No.
It's all very
but
similar.
For about a year, I had a black cashmere sweater that I would just
You call him Kusei?
I would think it was him. Kusei was the other brother.
Yeah, that's
you
why.
know the family.
Yeah, I do. Well.
Yeah. So do I know them very well. I mean, I was obsessed with them. I was obsessed with the Husseins.
Wait, wouldn't it be funny, like a reality show, like Living with the
Husseins?
Well, I did. That's interesting. Before we go,
That would be a funny sketch, yeah.
We have all the time.
I made a documentary years ago, almost 20 years ago, called Uncle Saddam, and it is exactly that. It's a documentary about the Hussein family as if they're like dynasty.
Did it get? Is it available to watch anywhere?
Yes, it's
Where?
called Uncle Saddam. You can get it. You can online, Amazon.
Okay.
And that's the thing we talked earlier about, and that's what got me firebombed by the terrorists. But we don't have time for that right now. But it is. It's. I look at the family as if they're the Kardashians.
But this is before any of that Kardashian shit was happening.
And it was before 9/11 or any of those things.
That's what
but
I
I'm
was
obsessed with that
thinking.
Yeah.
You were too far ahead, buddy.
But they were like that. The Husseins were like that.
Yes, they were.
They were like a Hollywood family.
Yeah.
Well, they had tons of money.
Tons of money,
Yeah.
and tons of power, and totally vulgar, and that Iraq was not like it is today. Like it was probably the freest.
Today
of
it's a
all,
shambles.
It was the freest of all of the Islamic countries.
It was secular. He hated.
It was the most secular.
Yeah.
Like this is the thing since.
Since
George Bush.
Since George Bush,
They ruined everything.
Bombed it. The military-industrial complex.
They created that kind of religious sectarianism.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
created that.
Yes.
Before that, it was nothing like that. Iran as well. Like I mean, you look at the footage in the movie that I wrote. You see the women walking around with like mini skirts.
They were dressing like Americans.
But then everything. Then once the Bushes got in,
You know what? It actually, I think it started with the Ayatollah in the late 70s.
It began with the Ayatollah.
Yeah, but then it came.
It began with when the Shah of Iran collapsed and the Americans
was
protected
removed,
him. And then and then that took hold, that kind of thing, and then now
you're talking about early Ayatollah, not later when he became a nightclub singer.
I knew that was a great.
Well, thank you, Scott.
Thank you very much.
And this has been an epic episode, and I don't know if we're going to do it in 2 parts, but it'll be something we hit the like or subscribe button on our podcast, and have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, that was fun.
Dude, that was by far
the best. That was
the
really
best
great.
podcast